Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews podcast number 23.
Number 20. We're short.
I think it's 23. Yeah, I kind of got the number wrong last time. You have to forgive me. 23. I'm Gary.
I'm Ian.
And joining us for podcast 23 is our good friend Dave Binmore.
I have returned.
He has returned. Dave.
And of course, in this podcast, we're going to be catching up on recent film and game news.
Yes.
And the theme of this month, as voted for, thank you so very, very much, everyone on Facebook, for voting that the theme of this month's podcast would be a discussion or more of a, I can't even think of a word to use.
A social experiment.
Discussing
face-to-face.
a comedian that's been active for at least 2 decades now, known as Adam Sandler.
It's going to get good.
And we're also going to be discussing Star Wars. So it's kind of like two completely opposite things, but we're going to talk about both of them.
Yeah, I mean, the theme was constructed. Obviously, I put it out on the Facebook page, like I do every now and again, where not that I'm struggling with an idea for a theme, but I want something that'll get the audience in, the shelfers go, yeah, I want to listen to this one. So obviously, I put out a bunch of options, and it was supposed to be Dave, Gary, and our friend Andy all in discussing Adam Sandler, because somehow, along the lines, Gary has built up such a general hatred or disliking to Adam Sandler.
I really don't know how you got that idea.
Well, funnily enough, I saw the exact same things when I was talking to Dave about, say, Star Wars. So to be able to put the two of you into a room and have you discuss a subject that you both found so annoying to exist.
Yeah. And so it should be an interesting debate.
Yeah.
And of course, in the final section of the podcast, we will be answering your questions.
Yes.
So to catch up, I know quite a lot of the shelfers, our listeners, have been asking us, what do we think of Halloween 2018?
Oh, yes.
Is it a return to form for the Halloween franchise? Is John Carpenter's work being ruined after we've seen what happened to all of our other favourite franchises?
Yes.
But, Halloween destroyed its own franchise way before when anyway. I mean, they had sequels which were half thought out. They had remakes which are universally hated.
Yes.
I was about to say, like, you say return to form. When did that form end? Like, was it with Halloween 2?
With John Carpenter.
Yes, with John Carpenter.
Is when it ended.
Halloween 3, obviously, let's remember, was going to be a completely new story every year with different directors and different stories coming out. And they hated that idea. So instead they came along and brought Michael Myers back, which he only got brought back because Freddy and Jason were constantly coming back.
Of course.
And it immediately didn't work for Michael because obviously he's human. Well, he's the Force, isn't he? But they had to make this whole supernatural... The shape. They had to make this whole background for him, this supernatural background, why he keeps coming back. And it just... Yeah. It kept fucking up. Halloween 2018, I have only wiki.
Of course you have.
By the time this podcast gone out, I definitely have wiki it, and I might have seen it. But from what I read, I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it because I've sat through all the...
Has it made you excited to actually see the film then?
Oh, totally. I was going to fucking buy this thing on DVD, like, hands down.
Okay, you're just not going into the cinema to see it.
Well, I wasn't going to rush to the cinema to see it because I've been let down very easily.
By previous films,
why would I spend £5 on the ticket when I could just save that £5 for when it comes out on DVD?
Fair enough. Well, I got to see it on opening day.
Yeah, you've seen it.
And it was the big screen and it was sold out. It was full to the brim of people. Granted, it was me and Andy that went and seen it, and there was lots of couples there. And to my annoyance, the couple to my right started making out halfway through the film. And I was just like, I was getting a little bit bored of the film as well.
Oh shit, I thought you were wanting to make out with Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to upstage them with Andy. But let's show them how it's done.
We were on the back row.
What was the audience like?
Now, that was what I was going to say, was that compared to Halloween's initial release, was it 1978?
Yeah.
And that audience was terrified in that film. You know, they jumped, they screamed during that film. This audience, 2018, laughed throughout the film.
Yeah,
it was borderline comedy without it even being a comedy. The audience was just laughing with it. It was just, you can't take it seriously, or a modern audience doesn't take it seriously.
Last horror film I saw in the cinema was Paranormal Activity 2, and it was jam-packed. I saw it on opening night, and it was the most fucking annoying audience ever. It was like little girls that were just screaming at nothing. And then it was hilarious, and everybody would laugh, and the rest of the audience was like, shut the fuck up!
Right? Yeah, it has driven a lot of people away from the cinema-going experience.
I will admit that is sometimes my problem as well, is I want to go to the cinema, but I don't want anybody else to go.
So you have to go at creepy hours in the night, or go during the day.
I understand, sort of communal experiences, I don't know, Rocky Horror, everybody knows the words.
See, I was excited for a shared audience experience with that Halloween on opening day.
And you did share it.
But it was...
With tongues.
But it was...
Yeah, but okay, so these teens went to see a horror movie and they're having a date, so they enjoyed it.
I do know that laughter is a form of, showing, nervous laughter.
But the laughter thing is, you sit in a room with 10 or 20 people fucking watching a horror movie. 3 people start laughing, everybody's going to start laughing. And half of them don't know the reason why. You're sat there watching a Halloween movie, something funny pops up on the screen. The guy who started laughing...
Not funny, something horrible happens. Or then something horrible doesn't happen.
Something happens on screen, and the laughter starts with that fucking age-old veteran who's watched every single Halloween movie, came wearing the actual shape mask that he bought off eBay, and he still fucking...
Sure, this wasn't William Shatner.
Probably just William Shatner, yeah. If you'd done it, that's why, I was completely sold on it. The DVD coming out, I'm going to watch it at home on my own, with the lights off, But what I read, story-wise, we knew it was going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
So at the end of...
So this is what they were going to do with aliens.
Yeah, Halloween 1, Michael was actually captured. At the end of Halloween 1, Michael was captured. Mm-hmm. People were laughing that he was being held in this psychiatric place, treated like this fucking monster.
At the end of Halloween 1, the original, Michael disappears.
Yeah, that's
but
what
at the start of this one, they caught him almost immediately afterwards.
Yeah,
because of his injuries.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. At the end of Halloween 1, he disappeared. And that was led into Halloween 2. This... Halloween 2018, he got caught.
Yeah. He's just hobbling down the road like, there he is, all over.
Yeah. Bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, I like that idea. You cannot do it again.
What do you mean?
Well, if they bring out Halloween 2019, or 2020, sequels down the line, and they decide to bring Laurie back again, you won't be able to capture what you captured in this film. It will just be remakes.
I will say for the film that it is very well made. It is a near perfect example of a modern slasher movie. It hits all the beats.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything new.
Yeah.
But what it does do, it does it very well. Now, what did impress me the most, and it should come as no surprise, is that the soundtrack to the film is fucking badass.
Yeah.
And it's done by John Carpenter, of course. He modernized the soundtrack.
Yeah. You've got Nick Castle playing the Shape.
Nick Castle, the original actor from the original Halloween, playing the Shape again.
So you've got that,
and of course Jamie Lee Curtis, who she's been boasting, and she's it's good for her to do so. But this is one of the biggest horror movie openings with a female lead. It is the biggest opening with a female lead over 55, and it's the second biggest October movie opening ever. Also, obviously, the biggest Halloween movie opening ever in history.
What's the resurrection?
55.
So it has done really well, and of course, spoilers. Cover your ears for the next 15 seconds.
Okay.
The film is left wide open for a sequel. Wide open. And that infuriated me at the end. I was like, they couldn't do it. They just couldn't bring themselves to end it.
No, but that's the thing. After reading the ending, we both agreed that yes, it's wide open, but secretly as well, I like the fact that it could just end there.
Well, it could. but the film has just done what? So well.
They've just done so well.
It's going to get a sequel. It's going to happen.
Exactly.
It's going to... The studio's going to push for it, and I'm guessing the filmmakers and everyone involved in this Halloween film did hold it and John Carpenter in such high regard that they might refuse to do it.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop the studio going...
That's not going to stop the studio from doing it. No. Not going to stop them from bringing Michael back.
I'm just going to go off topic now into real life drama, because my night after Halloween
got
a whole lot scarier in real life.
So you finished making out with Andy.
Finished making out with Andy. Andy came back here. He came in for a nightcap. Obviously, we wanted to talk about the movie, and
but one thing led to another.
And
Good
sorry,
story.
Andy. Sorry, Donna.
Yeah.
And I got back, Andy left, and then went to bed. And I got woken up about 1:30 in the morning due to loud noises, banging, screaming, and shouting. You know, thinking Paranormal Activity cranked up to 11 occurring.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, it sounds like it's in the house. And yeah, it's literally right outside my bedroom door where my housemates are having a full-blown domestic argument with this woman. Now, things started to escalate when I told her that she needed to leave the building right now.
Yeah.
And because she was like, I'm trying to talk. I'm like, no, you're not. You're screaming and shouting really loud. So you're not talking, so go away. You need to leave. Stop this.
Yeah.
Jeff ended up waking up, and we were trying to tell her to leave because she was clearly intoxicated on multiple drugs, alcohol. You could smell it, you could see it. It was a wreck. And she started screaming rape. She was screaming rape at the top of her lungs that the four of us were raping her. Every time we tried to touch her, to take her by the arms and move her to get her out of the house, she screamed even louder and started banging on the walls, the banisters, gone, kicked everything through before she bolted all the way downstairs into the kitchen where we film for the channel.
Yes.
Managed to stop her from going into there, where she kicked away the rest of the banisters. And then we eventually managed to get her out into the garden, out of the house, and managed to close the door.
The front door,
All of that happened in like 2 hours. At this point, we had already called the police.
4 guys, 1 woman. It shows how respectful you were that it took you 2 hours
to try. You can't talk someone down when they're on so much stuff. But we did actually have to grab an arm each and legs and physically restrain her from trying to get back into the house.
Yeah.
It was at this point that she came around the front of the house and started lobbing bricks through our windows. She managed to put the front door through. Not completely, but the panels were all kicked through, and her arms and legs were reaching in like out of a zombie movie as she was reaching for the latch to let herself back in. After blocking the doorway and keeping her from coming out, she decided to start throwing rocks through the car windows, specifically Jeff's van, before she eventually managed to put loose rocks right through the windshield. It was at this point that the police finally turned up before she kicked off immensely once more, which was when the police lost their temper with her and got her in the van and drove her off. That was about 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, fuck.
It was a horrible, horrible weekend.
5.5 hours of anarchy.
Yes, yeah. So I just thought I'd share that little slice of drama. You know, I'd also say this is now the 3rd house in a row that I've lived in that I've had to call the police to.
3rd?
Previously, I don't know if you remember when I was living on a different street, top floor, and downstairs it turned out they were running a brothel.
Oh yeah. I was there for that one.
And you called the police?
I was there for that one. Man, I remember I was over with him at this place. It was the old place when we first started doing off the show.
Yeah.
And
it's one of the reasons why I needed to get out of there as well.
We were just all sat in Gary's room and we were just sat there talking about films and stuff. Finished playing some board games.
This is how she used to live in as well.
Yeah. The one at Sydney Street. This old man just walks in.
Well, alright.
This old man just walks in and goes, alright. And I'm looking at Gary like, who the
hell is
fuck is this?
Money in hand?
No.
Right.
Well, that was it. It turned out that he'd come for a downstairs brothel
and came walking right
in
into
the
the
wrong door. So I kind of politely just walked him back out again and knocked on the door downstairs and went,
I think this is one of your customers.
And locked the front door.
So you served as a pimp.
I found that you do kind of look like a bouncer. Like, sir, this way, sir.
Well, yeah, I was a bit of a bouncer for this crazy ass.
I knew. My suspicions were confirmed when I overheard
had sex with the prostitute.
It was about 4 days after.
The bill came through the door.
No, I was literally in my bedroom editing a video, window open in the summer, and I can hear the phone conversation of her downstairs giving her statistics over the phone to a potential punter.
Wow.
And I was just like, holy shit, it's an actual brothel being run right underneath my feet.
Gary always finds the best places to live. You know,
Andy used to live there, didn't he?
He actually lived in the flat before it turned into a brothel. Surprisingly.
And before that, though, 2 years before that, the people that were living downstairs were police raided because they had like 12 black bags full of marijuana plants.
Oh,
because the police raided, they boosted through all the doors, and of course it's two detached flats.
Yeah, two detached.
But they burst through and went through every door. I'm just kind of sat there like, what the fuck? Like, all these police in SWAT uniforms, fucking the hammer, the shields, like, what? Who did this? What do you want?
Man, that's just brought a crazy memory back. I always loved that story where I got rang up by you one day. No, I got rang up by Jez, who was living with you. It's when I moved out with Linda, and Jez rang me up and asked me to come over to check on you. Oh, because you'd come home from a night out and kicked off. And you'd fallen asleep, and I'm like, okay.
We have mentioned this story in much earlier podcasts, and it's the reason why I don't drink so much anymore.
It's when I came into that old flat. Dave remembers seeing it, and I came up the front steps, and a couple of the banister rails had been broken. I'm like, okay. And as you turned at the top of the steps, you would face the room that Gary was staying in. And as I turned, I thought it was funny that the door was open. But what was even more funny is, before I realised, was that the door was in place, but was on its side. He literally kicked it off its fucking hinges, and it had jammed into space. And there was Gary, face down on the bed, completely clothed. And I'm like, "You alright, dude?" He's like, "Yeah." "Do you need a sandwich?" "Yeah." "Do you need a drink?" "Yeah." I'm like, dude, seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not mix drugs and alcohol. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
That's our recommendation for today.
So there was another show that I had it written down on the notes last podcast to talk about, but it's something I wanted to wait until Iain had also finished watching.
Oh yeah,
and that is my new favourite TV show at the moment.
Yeah, have you seen this, Dave?
Final Space.
Final Space?
No.
I'm wearing the t-shirt again right now. I kind of, as soon as I started watching the show, I'll be honest, 10-15 minutes into the first episode, I was just like, first episode's almost over. I don't know if I will continue watching, but I did. And then it was 3:00 in the morning, and I'd watched the whole lot.
The lead character is called Gary.
Yes, that was one of the first reasons that did put me off. I've never watched a show before where the main character's called Gary and the name comes up.
Well, Gary and Mike.
Yeah,
Gary and Mike was a good one. Gary from Men Behaving Badly.
I never really watched that much of it.
Yeah, but this Gary, oh my god! So
it's a sci-fi animated comedy.
Yeah, sci-fi animated comedy. Gary is
sentenced to 5 years aboard a prison ship.
Yeah, and he has to work off his time, and he's really, really wanting a cookie because the ship's got cookies, but he's not allowed any unless he works the time off.
Yeah,
there's a robot called Kevin who everybody hates, but I fucking loved. He was fucking awesome. He was just so annoying and in everybody's face and so positive. I was like, man, I love Kevin.
I fucking hate Kevin.
You got Mooncake, the weird space energy fucking.
It's kind of like
creature.
the icon of the show. It's like the centerpiece.
It's death on a galactic scale. That thing.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
but it's also like a cute little Jigglypuff type thing.
Yeah,
that makes cute noises.
It sounds quite random. So, what would you compare it to?
What? It's kind of it's almost
it's Futurama.
Rick and Morty
Futurama.
It's definitely a 15 rated animation in terms of the themes, in terms of the violence, and some of the language. The humor is both juvenile and sophisticated, and at the same time, what this show really what really caught my attention was how much heart and soul was actually in the show. I actually found it very moving to watch. And some episodes really take you off guard because you didn't think it would go there, and it did.
Yeah, and it's so well constructed.
It really is. It's also one of the most beautiful animations as well. It's not simple.
I'll spoil it now a little bit, just a little bit, just to give people a taste. Right, every episode, it's what, 8 episodes, and each
8 or 10 episodes.
8 or 10 episodes, about 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Every episode of those 8 or 10 first season is Gary in a spacesuit floating in space.
10 minutes of oxygen left.
Yeah, amid this wreckage, right?
And it goes down a minute every episode.
And every episode, it flashbacks and it's so well constructed. As you go, it is building up to how Gary got there.
Yeah,
you know, and at the start of each episode,
that hook is enough to keep you going.
At the start of that episode, you're like, oh fuck yeah! I just sat through this madcap adventure where everybody was so happy and Gary kicked ass and even got a cookie at the end of it. But this is actually
where it's going to go.
And I loved it in the very last episode. It counted down the minutes.
Yeah, it recapped
and
them
it
all.
showed a clip of what we'd seen at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah.
And it was just so emotional. I was like, I know this is going to end, and I don't want it to end, but I kind of want it to end because I need to see what happened.
I should also say it's fantastically voice acted as well. You've got Ron Perlman in there, David Tennant.
Briefly, Ron Perlman's briefly.
Oh, but he's still magnificent, when he turns up. You immediately know it's his voice.
Yeah.
But some other really good voice actors in there. It has been picked up for a second series. Only recently did we find out, and I just am ecstatic. I just absolutely can't wait for the show to come back. It was originally sort of how the show got picked up was that I think it's Olin Peters was a YouTuber, and he was just pitching his ideas and his animations, just whatever he could do, and he was literally picked up by someone who just went, that looks really good. I'm going to give you all the money I've got to go and get a studio and get this show made, and it's amazing that happened.
Yeah.
The talent was seen and is being utilised, and it's now available to watch. It's on Netflix.
Yes. Oh, so, definitely. Yes. Watch it.
If you've got Netflix, definitely check it out. If not, find a way.
Yes.
Do you want to start pitching some ideas now, Gary? Some mystery person's watching?
I struggle for my own ideas for films.
I was going to say, I've got thousands, but, half them are legal.
But speaking of Netflix, the most talked about recent addition to Netflix is the haunting...
Not my subscription.
Oh yeah, that you got Netflix.
I got Netflix.
Amazing. It's just giving you unlimited channel hopping ability.
The wife has taken the remote off me. She's like, you cannot channel hop on Netflix. I'm like, watch me. Yeah. But one of the newest shows that's been added is Haunting of Hill House.
Fuck, I hate that name.
It's the one that's got so many people talking about it being the scariest, most horrific.
Why do you hate that name?
It's just House on Haunted Hill. It's just every time I want to say that, but it's not. It's Haunting of Hill House. It's just like...
Yeah,
it's a bizarre
I know.
way of putting those words.
It is not. It's not the one you've just mentioned.
Yeah,
it is its own thing. It's 10 episodes long, I think. Each one's an hour, and it obviously it's dealing with ghosts and a haunting, and it's the show is broken up into sort of the past and the present. And
so
all
like
the episodes are kind of
American
flashback.
Horror Story.
The family moves in, mum, dad, 5 kids, and then it's present day where all the kids are older, but they're all psychologically messed up after spending one summer in that house. To which the mother also died in the house on the last night that they were in there.
Oh yeah,
the father rescues all the kids, goes back for the mother, and he comes out damaged. The kids get taken away from him. So then modern day, some of the kids are going, it was fucking haunted. And the other kids are going, no, you've all got psychological mental health issues after our parents fucked us up. And so you're watching it going, okay, so one of them becomes a drug addict, the other one's life's falling to pieces,
Yeah.
the other one's writing novels about haunted locations and just going, it's all fucking fake, because he doesn't believe it,
Yeah,
it's mental illness. But the hauntings start up again.
What, to each one of them
To all
individually?
of them. But even the one that's the total skeptic going, it's crazy, you know, he sees a ghost scream in his face, and then the next day he's just like, I've got the same mental health issues as everybody else, you know? And so you're watching it like, what is going on? And also you're trying to unravel the mystery of the ghosts in the house as to what the stories are. You know, I'll tell you, there's 2 sequences in that show that genuinely creeped me the fuck out, which has not happened in a horror movie in 20 years. So it was really, really damn effective. And, you know, it looked very much like the Pulse ghost. The creepy face, the Japanese one, the creepy face sort of looking over the bed sheets under a boy screaming under his covers. Horrific. Same character, the ghost comes back for him when he's older and he's just walking through the street, and the ghost, when he turns around, the ghost is always there.
Yeah.
Facing away from him, but directly away from him, but just there. And then when he's walking and then stops, the back of the ghost just slides right up to the back of him, so he's back to back with you again. Until he walks away, and then the back of it's just following him always. It's just fucking creepy as hell.
It'll give me fucking nightmares.
I haven't watched it myself, but I heard someone saying that there's a lot of things going on in the background, sort of that aren't.
Oh yeah. There's statues where the heads turn. You know, the camera goes. You know, you see the statues. The camera goes into the room. They come out, and the statues are in a different pose. But and there's no musical cue to tell you
it's not
happened.
focusing on it.
It's not focusing it. There's just things happening that you can miss, which is awesome. It's subtle with it, as well as having its jump scares. But it's really well acted. It's a drama, horror, haunting. I do recommend it. It was really effective.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot of praise recently.
Red Dead Redemption 2's just come out like 2 days ago as of this recording. Yeah. I finally got it, and of course I've put 11 hours into it in the 3 days. I don't know. I'm losing track of days now.
And it blurs into one when you're riding on the back of the horse.
Exactly. This podcast is just going to be slapped together, edited, and uploaded just so I can get right back to Red Dead Redemption 2. My first impressions of the game, that is absolutely fucking outstanding. I love the Western genre. We don't get very many Western-themed games where you can be an honourable outlaw or a gun-toting psychopath out there just murdering and killing and running away from the law. It's beautiful. The gameplay's nice. 1 or 2 glitches, disappearing caravans and horses, you know, just vanish just instantly. And also my horse is just getting in the way sometimes, or just going into areas where it's not supposed to, and then you can't mount it or lead it back out.
What's the interaction like? I mean, how well does your character interact with the world itself?
More so than in any Rockstar game I've ever played.
So I've always imagined, I got it from the last Grand Theft Auto, but I wanted it to be in Red Dead. I wanted to be able to just walk into a town, you know, no wanted symbol on me, walk into a town and just over the course of a day, just kind of just hang about in this town, just watch it.
Every single person that's walking around the town you can greet or antagonise, which may result in dialogue, or it may just result in passing dialogue. You know, if you're just riding through, you know, an area and people are riding towards you, you can just greet them or jump on their horse and rob them, or all those sorts of things. But there's lots of people in the town that have interesting dialogues just going on whilst you're walking through that you can sort of hang by and listen to. The camp that you're in, you know, late at night before you go to bed, one of the characters will go over and start telling stories at the campfire. One of them will break out into song. There's all of the characters will pass dialogue back and forth based on the missions that you've completed. There is dominoes, poker, five-finger fillet.
Fucking five-finger fillet.
There is hunting. There is bounty hunting missions, and like I said, I'm only scratching the surface, really.
Yeah.
But there's so much to do. It's beautiful looking game, fantastic soundtrack, awesome fucking voice actors yet again.
Yeah, it might be on my list to get at some point.
It's got to be played. It really does. But like I said, I am biased to the genre, and ever since Gun, Red Dead Redemption, what was the others? The Call of Juarez
Call
games.
Juarez.
There's been very few.
The first Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, this is what's keeping me from playing it, because I have no like for westerns at all.
But do you like Rockstar games? I'm going to say no for my answer. No.
I would say yes, but I tend to fall off them really fast. I mean, I like the original GTA on PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I would replay the same intro 4 hours over and over again. I don't know why. I would never sort of go on past that point. I really enjoyed GTA 5 was the last one.
Yeah, GTA 5.
I played through that story and I got to the end. I never played online because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
By the time I got to it, and then I sold it for the same price I bought it for.
Wow. Red Dead Redemption 1, upon completing that game's story to its final conclusion, it was at that point, it was like a couple of days later. I mean, it was at that point I knew I'd witnessed something great.
Yeah.
And days later, I was, just reminiscing on it and thinking back on it, and it is just one of the greatest written games I've ever experienced for telling one story in one game. It's the back end of John Marston's story.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, it's just, it took my breath away. It was just, so when people say, show me examples of good writing in video games, I put it up there with BioShock. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think Red Dead came out and I started. I think Dylan had just been born then, so I didn't have a time to put into Red Dead as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And so after a while, I was just like, you know what, I just can't be bothered anymore.
Okay.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, and I'm like, I need to put the time in for this one because I didn't do it with Red Dead. And the problem was, by the time I got Grand Theft Auto 5, the online had started working. Mm-hmm. So I did like 11% of the game.
And that was it.
That was it.
That is still it, isn't it?
That's still it. Still, we've never done the story mode to Grand Theft Auto. So with this one, I'm looking at Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, am I really? Am I that player now that I'm wanting the story, or am I just going to do the tutorial, get on my horse, and murder every single person I come across
for as long as you can?
For as long as I can.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, by the time you get to where the game opens up for you, after I'd been off doing my own thing for sort of 6 hours, I was just like, I miss my crew. Like, you spent the first 3 hours of the game with the whole crew together, fighting through some hardships. And then once everyone starts going their own ways, you're just like, I miss my crew. And like, you makes you want to go back and do the story missions because you want to have more interactions and see more interactions. I was laughing my ass off playing the game the other day when I went to, two of the outlaws come back into the camp. One of them's been captured, and so the Dutch says, go and take him into town and have a drink, calm him down. Obviously, they get there and they're like, look, just one drink, okay? Just one drink. One drink slams down. Vision goes blurry. They're on the tables drinking pints.
Are they in like
it turns into a massive party, and the next thing you know, you're just like, the vision goes, and then you're somewhere else in the pub, and your friend's gone. So you're walking around to try and find him. You find him again, and you start talking to him about old times before you realise, like, time's passed and he's gone again. So you got to wander around the pub to find him.
Is that
again.
where like everybody in the pub's lined up and dancing?
Yeah, everyone in the pub's lined up dancing, doing the can-can at one point. And you're like, do you remember that? Did that happen? Next thing you know, you're outside taking a piss, like what? Oh, I'm outside now.
Okay.
And then you go back inside to try and find your friend, and everybody is him. Like, every model, every NPC that's in the pub is him. And you're like, Lenny, is that you? I was just laughing so hard. And of course, I won't spoil what happens after that, but it was just a great sequence, just really well told, animated. It's awesome. Yeah. It's really, really awesome. And I don't want to spoil too much.
And something about horse bollocks.
Right? Oh yeah, horses that have...
That seems to be the internet's
balls. Meme they're anatomically correct.
Yeah.
Horses have balls.
Horses have balls.
Yeah, it's just the internet's going on about shrinking balls or something.
I saw it was I was like, that's a clickbaity rubbish title. I don't need to read any of that. I'm like, what? Grow up. So Ian, did you have?
Oh man, this month's been really, really quite interesting. NXT UK came down to Plymouth, to Plymouth Pavilions, which is our little kind of event stage area, really tiny. But it was me and Andy. We went for the Saturday night, and it was great. Managed to get a ticket to go see the Sunday night event as well with Dylan. And Triple H and the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels were in attendance.
Man, if I knew they were going to be there, I'd almost want a ticket myself just to have at least seen them in person once.
That's it. I totally forgot. I didn't know that they were going to be there, and I totally forgot that it was the NXT UK event.
Yeah.
I remember Andy said to me months and months and months ago about buying a ticket, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, wrestling's coming down. It was great last time we saw it, get to go with you this time. 10 minutes before we leave to go queue up to go in there, he's like, Triple H has announced that he's in Plymouth through Twitter. And it's
as you did.
And I'm kind of like, they know where we are.
That's it, and there's a part of me when he said that, I'm like, fuck's sake, Ian, you need to get on Twitter. You can't be like the only person not knowing half this shit. But then in my mind, I'm like, realistically, Triple H coming out of Plymouth. Not really. It's not really going to happen.
He's just getting down to see the lighthouse.
Well, he's not even going to be there. He's probably just going to be in gorilla position, fucking monitoring the show.
He's at Wetherspoons.
Wow.
When his video came up on screen on the Saturday night announcing that he was going to be coming out on stage on the Sunday, the whole place booed his ass off. You could not hear what the rest of the video said because everybody booed because we knew he was there and that he should come out. And then when his music dropped and he came walking out, fucking absolutely crazy. I screamed myself hoarse. I screamed myself.
I saw you 4 days afterwards and your voice still hadn't recovered.
well, that's because of the Sunday night as well. After seeing Triple H come out on the Saturday night and Shawn Michaels come out and them share a little moment, which isn't actually going to be on TV. Me and Andy don't think it will actually be showed.
Okay.
Because it was so off the cuff.
Yeah.
The cameras wouldn't have been ready or whatnot. But
wouldn't it have been shown by now?
No. What I mean is Triple H came out and was making a joke about how we booed him.
Oh, right.
And then we all started cheering for Shawn Michaels because we knew he was backstage as well. And Triple H was like, he's not going to come out. He's not going to come out. He's just going to sit there with his head in his hands, hiding. And then Shawn Michaels came out, and so we all cheered. He buggered off again 2 seconds later. And Triple H was like, 2 things just happened there. 1, I buried Shawn Michaels so badly, he had to come out and do something. And 2, it shows that the only fun I ever have is when he's around.
Oh,
so that's kind of stuff's not going to be shown on TV. The Sunday night,
it's awesome that they're still traveling together. They're still friends.
Yeah, well, right. The weird thing is, a couple of days after it happened, after the excitement had died down, I was there and I was like, shit. Have they gotten so old now that they're turning up at small little indie shows?
Yeah, like Plymouth.
Yeah, like Plymouth. Like, do you remember when Jake the Snake Roberts came down to Plymouth and we were like, oh my god, it's fucking Jake the Snake.
Yeah, retired, has been washed out.
Yeah, is that one like the drugs and...
Yeah, at that stage. That was when he was at that stage.
When he was at that stage. And you always hear about these stars going to low independent shows. I kind of felt the same way with that when Shawn Michaels came out. Like, shit, has he done everything now that he has to turn up at these small little shows to get a pop?
Or someone higher up just paid for them to leave the country for a little while.
That's it. Or was it actually one of those little magical moments where he just happened to be travelling with his mate and thought, fuck it, I'm going to come
on, let's go down to the southwest.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like in The Wrestler where he goes to that hall and he's doing that signing and it's so miserable.
There's like 8 people there.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan and I have nothing but love and respect for fans and stars when they do all this crazy stuff we love in the celebrity world. But after the show finished, it was like 9:30 and I needed to go home. And there were people... Yeah, I was knackered, man. I was knackered. I had Dylan with me on the Sunday as well. He was knackered. There were people waiting at the fire exit.
Yeah,
of course.
Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. I love fans and stars and all that kind of stuff. But when you've just finished like a 3-hour event, you've just been working for maybe 2 or 3 hours before that, and you come out the fire exit, and immediately you've got somebody like me waving a piece of paper in your face,
and
like,
a pen.
Yeah, sign this. I've gone to that stage now where I'm like, they're human.
Yeah.
I had my moment with them. I don't need anything more from them. They gave me enough. But I see you see the people standing at the fire exit, and you're thinking those people are so dedicated as well. They will wait there for 4 hours.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Until that person comes out. It's a crazy situation.
I've only done it with Bill Bailey, and I didn't even see the show. I went to pick my wife up. It's just past the theatre.
Yeah.
And I saw some people waiting outside, and then I was like, oh, Bill Bailey's on tonight. And then I picked my wife up, came back, and he just popped out, and then I hustled into the little crowd and had my photo with him. I was like, yeah. He said, did you enjoy the show? I was like, yeah.
You lied to Bill Bailey.
I went to see him like 2 years later. So I made it right. So was the Saturday and Sunday show the same show? Like same matches, same...
No, they were totally different. The thing is, they've started this NXT UK show on the WWE Network, and they're trying to get the UK kind of wrestling world built up and on a global basis. So they were in Cambridge, and I believe they were in Liverpool as well, and Plymouth, and maybe somewhere else. And at the moment, they're showing an hour of the NXT UK show on the network.
So is it like an edited version of the 3 hours?
I think so, because obviously we were there for 2
saw
nights,
6 hours.
6 hours worth of it. They were telling us our cues. When we come back from the break, we're going to be putting the cameras on you, so go crazy. We want to hear you. We want to hear the crowd alive. You don't want no dead air.
Yeah.
And I understand it now from watching it on the network that British wrestling fans are so polite. We are so polite. We will sit there and we will quietly watch the match and not miss anything.
You'll see, if you look at the crowd, you see them sipping their tea in it.
Yeah, exactly. Man, we clap.
Bloody good show.
Bloody good show there.
Marvellous. Marvellous.
You see that hip toss? Oh, yes, they're here. But the crazy thing is, you watch like they don't do it so much now, but an American crowd, they are baying for blood. Sometimes they are going crazy
with the beach balls,
and stuff like that. When they were in Plymouth, me and Andy especially, we were cheering for absolutely everything. Yeah. I didn't know half the people coming out, so I didn't know if they were a good guy or a bad guy.
Right.
So I cheered.
You're looking at how good they put on a show.
Yeah, I cheered them if they looked positive. I booed them if they kind of looked there with the dark makeup and the leather jackets, like they were going to hurt somebody. I cheered the bad guys halfway through the match because they were putting on some of the hard hitting shit. I then cheered the good guy when they won.
Yeah.
At one point, there was a guy called Zach Gibson. I had never seen him before. Andy said he'd seen him on the championship that had been on a few months before on the network. And people started cheering, "Shoes off if you hate Gibson." What? It started off as "stand up if you hate Gibson." So everybody stood up and they're chanting, "Stand up if you hate Gibson, stand up." Then it changed to "shoes off if you hate Gibson." So now you've got like fucking 500 odd people all holding one shoe up in the air, cheering "shoes off if you hate Gibson" while he's wrestling his match.
And
then it got to a point where it's like "shoes on if you hate Gibson." So everybody put their shoes back on, and I'm like, this is great. This is great. This is British fans. We get to showcase ourselves now on the network
by taking your shoes on and off during a match.
Yes, but I made it good because there was a point where the cameras were going around looking at all the crowd. Mm-hmm. I was screaming my head off to get the cameraman's attention. I couldn't
waving your shoe at him.
I had my off the shelf reviews t-shirt on and the shirt that I'm wearing at the moment. I had my new NXT hat and I'm screaming at this cameraman and he's turning, he's just about to look at me and he turned away to go to the other crowd and I'm like, you fucking bastard. So I turned to the other cameraman who was up by the entranceway and he spotted me. So I start screaming, yeah, motherfucker, look at me, yeah, you know. And I can see myself on the big screen behind him doing all the hand movements. And I was so excited. I brought my arm down and elbowed a guy in the head.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your son. Oh.
No. I elbowed a guy sat in front of me. I elbowed him right in the head. No. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm completely embarrassed now. I apologise to him.
It's still on the big screen.
Still on the big screen. He said it was fine. I went outside and I bought myself a beer and him a beer. Came back in and said, here you go, man.
And he said, I'm alcoholic.
No, he said, no, thanks, it's my favourite beer. And he took the beer. So, yeah, I was on TV, but I hurt somebody. So
yeah, I hurt someone to get yourself on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, keeping on the wrestling theme, Roman Reigns.
Some tragic news, I hear.
I mean, obviously, I know you don't follow wrestling like that, Gary.
Well, I know Roman Reigns. I've seen him wrestle a few times.
Well, Dave is the ultimate Roman Reigns fan.
I hear that.
Obviously, he's absolutely loved every single Royal Rumble that he's won over the last 12 years. You know, how many WrestleManias has he main evented? Like 9?
Probably 9 with 300 Superman punches.
But how have we gone almost fucking 11 years that he's been in WWE, I think he said? This long, and it's the first I've ever heard of this.
Well, some people like to keep their personal health.
You got your character in the ring, and
I get that, but at the same time, with the way that they have built Roman Reigns over the last X amount of years, was them not using it as part of his character build-up a good idea because they didn't want to milk this idea or tarnish it, you know? But now it's actually come out. And he's actually got to take time off for personal issues.
Of course, yeah.
I'm like, that character is now changed. I don't think anybody can boo him.
Yeah, when he comes back.
When he comes back.
Well, it's the WWE crowd, man. They all turn on people in a flip of a hat.
That is true. It is a wrestling crowd. But at the same time, as a wrestling fan, I was like, you know, if this is Vince McMahon's way of getting us to like Roman Reigns, it's really low.
No,
It
would come out like in the media instantly, and
it would almost be fraudulent, I think, to pull a storyline that publicly. I don't know.
Well, this is it. When he made the announcement, it became like.
Yeah, it was like
I doubt they'd be that
everything.
desperate for ratings. I doubt they would.
And that's how big it was. Is that it hit BBC News and everyone was like, "Shit." So if he doesn't survive, I'm putting this on record now. You know, put my head on the chopping block. If he doesn't survive, well, you know, it will be one of the harshest things to happen to wrestling in a very long time, I think. At the same time, if he does...
It would be tragic, yeah.
If he does, Dave is going to have front row tickets to WrestleMania when he wins the championship. Because you...
No, I wish no ill health on the man himself, but I...
Too late now, Dave!
I just don't like his in-ring character or his performances. You could I find you could line up his last 100 matches, press play on 100 TVs, and
watch the same match.
It'll play out the exact same way with the exact same two
timings.
moves.
Yeah, you could mirror them up with John Cena matches.
But you know, these are performers. They're doing a job. You can't wish ill will on them. They're performing for you. They're doing their job.
Yeah, and so like I said, going back to NXT, that was one of the big things. I was really hoping nobody would botch anything in the ring. And when there was one little mistake, the crowd actually let it go.
That's cool.
Which was really nice. Nobody started chanting, you know, you
Botchamania.
Botchamania or anything like that. We saw it. We went, yeah, that's okay, and we just carried on.
It happens, yeah. Plus the NXT, so let them go.
Yeah.
Man, anything else?
Yeah, well, I mean, are we doing it now? Are we bringing up now Mandy?
Yeah, now we have. That's one of
we got Dave in for this one, didn't we?
There's we've had quite a few messages to us saying, "Oh, you guys need to check out Mandy. We'd love to know what you think about Mandy." I was already well aware of the film Mandy, and I have a copy of the film, and I've had it for weeks, months, even.
Yeah,
and just never got around to watching it, and people keep saying, you got to watch Mandy. And so I was like, okay, you know, Dave also messaged us saying, you need to watch Mandy.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, I've got Iain round. We've finished recording. We're going to chill out. And I'm like, we're going to watch Mandy so we can talk about it in the podcast. So, Iain, what did you think about Mandy?
It's an artistic wet dream fucking turn nightmare by the end of the 2-hour running time.
So you did not enjoy the experience, Ian?
Yeah, I thought I would. No, you know what? I wasn't going to enjoy the experience the moment I walked into this film because of what I had seen in the trailer and what I'd also wikied before watching it.
Yeah.
You know, I know Dave puts Nicolas Cage on this pedestal right up there next to Roman Reigns and Adam Sandler, and so it's really difficult to not like a Nicolas Cage film when obviously Dave's there outside your house burning effigy, you know, like late at night, like a Wicker Man, like the Wicker Man remake. He's burning the film. Knowing that Nicolas Cage was going to go on a mad fucking crazy one halfway through the movie, I had to understand the movie of why. That's one of the problems I got with it. I don't understand the reason why around Mandy.
Okay. Why the cult gets so obsessed with her?
Why the cult was so obsessed with her?
Because the cult leader...
Why Nicolas Cage was so fucking...
kind of off-kilter, and so was she. And so he made an immediate connection, and that's why he obsessed over her.
Now, I get that.
And then, of course, she rejects him.
But I also see it from another point of view. Like, if it had just been Nicolas Cage living as a family man out in the woods with a normal fucking girl, I say normal.
I'm sorry, everyone, just to make this as a moment, the studio lights have just gone out, and we are sat in the dark. But
Dave,
we have we have the glow of the recording equipment. So
it's because I'm talking about Mandy.
It is.
But if he was just...
there's a red light everywhere.
If he was just with a normal wife and kid, and they got killed by some crazy fanatic person, you know, and then he'd gone on a crazy one, it wouldn't have garnered as much hype behind it. So to me, they were like, we cannot go for conventional sense. We've got to put everything on a bit of a twist. All the camera angles have to linger a little bit longer than you'd want it to be. All the music has to be of a certain tone to make it just really surreal.
Well, the whole film is like being on an acid trip.
LSD.
Yes.
LSD, essentially, yeah.
A bad trip.
A very bad trip, yeah. And I can only imagine watching the film under one of those drugs would kill you.
Yeah, you never, ever fucking watch that film on anything other than coffee.
It is an uncomfortable film to sit through.
Like when the main sort of cult leader he's talking at Mandy for ages, and there's a scene where he's just looking at the camera, but it's casually blending faces.
Both the faces together.
And then back again, and it's so strange and so bizarre.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a Razorhead levels of awkward visuals that makes you uncomfortable.
You put the nail right on the head there. It is an Razorhead level of a Nicolas Cage performance.
With lots of vibrant colours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but for me, though, it had started off so Razorhead that it lost some of its impact by about 3/4 of the way in.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay, yeah.
That now
it wore you out.
Yeah, it wore me out. It's getting to the point where he's going on his mad killing sprees.
Yeah,
and he's taking
last act of the film.
He's taking drugs, and he's actually taking drugs at this point.
He drinks a lot of vodka. I imagine.
The scene in the bathroom where he does
great scene.
Snap. It's like the full spectrum of Cage.
It is full Cage.
That was an amazing scene because he's there, just sat down and going forward these emotions just like anybody else would in that kind of situation.
Yeah,
but he's a broken man. He's drinking and he's on drugs. But the film actually doesn't gain anything from that. It's so weird and fucked up,
man. It has Cenobites on motorbikes. Like. These are the best looking Cenobites I've seen since Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, but they're in it before he even takes drugs, so they're
when he ends up. I love the bit. My favourite scene in the film is when he samples a drop of the drugs that they're on and the trip that he goes on.
Yeah, it's fucking mind blowing. That is.
Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it, but then again, at the same time, if you're not a Nicolas Cage fan, you know, you're definitely not going to get anything from this film.
Dave?
It's such a once every
yeah
so many years film that it's so different, it's so out there that it's worth the experience because you're not getting that day to day. I think.
No. It is definitely quite an artistic film.
Yeah, definitely.
It blends the visuals and the music and the narrative is obviously it's a revenge movie essentially.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
It's Nicolas Cage doing his Nicolas Cage, but it still works for this film. Yeah. So it's comical if you take it out of context, when you just look at a sequence from it. But
it's definitely better than Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah.
Yes. As a piece of filmmaking.
Probably definitely better than Wicker Man.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's as good as Face Off. Maybe not as good as Birdie either.
So should we get into some quick film news?
Let's get into some film news, yes.
Okay, well, very quickly, and some bad news. Gary Kurtz has passed away at the age of 78.
Wow.
He was made famous working with George Lucas on American Graffiti, Star Wars A New Hope, and The Empire Strikes Back. After leaving Lucas, he went and worked on films such as Dark Crystal and Return to Oz.
Yes.
He was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, friend, colleague, and mentor whose work and talent spanned filmmaking, photography, music, and cinema history, his family statement read. He was a Marine, a world traveller, and an outstorman, a kind, compassionate human being. He was a magnificent man who will be hugely missed.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Indeed.
he fucking worked his ass off.
Also, he really did. And some of those films we still treasure today. We're still being requested to do Dark Crystal.
Oh man, I've just seen the second bit of news. Yeah, go on it, man.
Yeah, director Danny Liner has passed away at the age of 57. He was the director for Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies.
Man,
or Go to White Castle. He also directed Dude, Where's My Car, episodes of Sopranos, The Tick, and the American version of The Office.
Which all of them are really, really good.
Yeah, he's worked on some fantastic stuff. So it's very sad.
Very unique comedy.
Yeah.
You could tell his films.
Indeed.
Oh, who was it who only died recently? The guy from Return of the Living Dead.
Karen James. I know. I was weird because it was 2 days before he passed away. I just watched the Return of the Living Dead behind the scenes. Like it was an 2 hours documentary.
Man, I love the Return of the Living Dead.
Karen James always says, "Nobody remembers my name, but you recognise my face, and that's because I've worked my damned ass off."
Yeah.
And he has. He worked in so many films. So very sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
Sad news some more. Train to Busan is now being remade.
Well, obviously.
James Wan, who worked on the Conjuring films, is set to produce it. But the actual sequel to Train to Busan should actually, hopefully, come out before the American remake does.
Yeah.
It's titled Bando, the sequel, which it translates as Peninsula.
Right.
So, Train to Busan, now Peninsula.
I still need to watch Train to Busan, and I'm slightly worried about it now. It's people have been raving about it so much, but the people who've been raving about it to me
are all the people that would recommend Wreck to you. Yeah. So that's why I'm optimistic. No. I can't wait to see it.
Some of them would recommend World War Z to me.
Okay. Right. Well, speaking of World War Z, World War Z 2 starts shooting next year. Yay. But this is the news that's got me. David Fincher is directing it, and that makes me super excited because he hasn't done a film since 2014's Gone Girl,
and that was good.
That was good. How long is he going to be directing it for until he's removed? The fucking
he's got a running friendship with Brad Pitt, so they're going to work well together.
How long until Brad Pitt removes himself off of World War Z after the shit he went through in the first one?
I find it highly unlikely that even because of the troubled production of the first one, the troubled production getting this one off the ground, if he was going to have left, he would have left by now. The fact that he's got Fincher involved, I can't wait. David Fincher is going to be directing a zombie movie. That is awesome.
No, it's not. Because it is. Because it is based on a fucking book that if they do not even get close to the book.
Do we want to go down this lane?
Yes, you started. You fucking brought it up. You brought it up. Set me off.
No, you brought it up.
You set me off. If David Fincher picks up Max Brooks' book and actually reads it all the way through and makes World War Z 2 actually what World War Z should have been, it will be a fucking blessing in disguise, and it will become World War Z because I'll burn the other copy that I've got. If it even gets to that stage. If is a big word, because I can immediately see that David Fincher will be removed halfway through production because he's gone over budget. Brad Pitt will take himself off. The film will change the story completely halfway through. And it won't be World War Z 2 when it comes out. It'll be World War Z 2 on a train mixed in with fucking the Remake Peninsula fucking Train to Busan movie.
So you're optimistic.
Oh, totally.
Well, I am optimistic about a new Neil Marshall film.
Okay.
It's going to be set in the time of the witch hunts during the rise of the Great Plague in the year 1660 or 1665.
Right.
And of course, Neil Marshall directed The Descent and Doomsday.
Descent.
Now, The Descent is
really good.
It's really good. It's basically chuds.
Doomsday, the one in Scotland.
Doomsday is now Doomsday is by all accounts terrible, but it is if you look at it as an awesome B movie like that it is, you get some good enjoyment out of it. If you love something like Mutant Chronicles, which I also loved, it is bad. It's cheap, but I still like it.
For me, they fucked up Doomsday with the whole cow sequence.
Yeah. A lot of people think that.
You remember the cow sequence?
Yeah.
The film's great until its last act.
Yeah.
The last act is all fine. I can get the whole cannibalistic Mad Max fucking shit.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that they drive through about 100 cows to get to the cannibals.
Yeah. Like, why didn't they eat the cows?
Why did they even have to see the cows? Oh,
yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Well, a couple of shows just got cancelled.
Really?
After I've just seen Daredevil season 3.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I've always loved Daredevil. Wasn't a fan of Luke Cage. Wasn't a fan of Iron Fist. Didn't really enjoy Jessica Jones too much, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist have both been cancelled. And no reason has really been given because Netflix hasn't really said how successful their shows were in terms of viewing numbers.
They never do, though, with anything, really, do they?
They do when a show is doing phenomenally well.
Don't they just give, weird stats to that, though?
Yes, they do.
So many people have watched so many hours or something strange
No,
like
I think
that.
that's Pornhub that do that. They give out their statistics when, major events occur. They put out statistics. Like when a new Star Wars film comes up, they would turn around and go, Star Wars search term in Pornhub has increased 800% since the new release of whatever.
I love how you know this. Keep going. Tell us the search history for Pornhub.
Well, it's because those statistics become global news. It's not just Pornhub news bulletin. Those things.
Oh, right. That's what you're saying, is that you read it other places than the Pornhub website.
Well, the Pornhub website is not a news place, is it?
Oh, because you've looked.
But they like to publish publicly their statistics, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah. Anyway. Where
so what I think is fascinating is, wow, you got so embarrassed all of a sudden. Is that it looks like those shows may have been cancelled not because of the critical reception for it.
Right.
It's the fact that Disney is looking at or is going to be releasing its own streaming service for all of its own movies and TV shows. Now, of course, we know the mouse owns Marvel. And right now, Netflix is running 5 Marvel shows.
Marvel shows, yeah.
And now it looks like the mouse wants them back. And so they might be just paying Netflix going, we're having the rights back. We're having the rights back.
Yeah.
We're having the rights back. Or it may be a case of Netflix going, these shows are shit. Just fucking drop them and give them back to Disney.
They might just be
it's all hearsay.
This is it. I hadn't watched any of them because
you wikied them.
You just got Netflix. That's why.
No, I didn't. It was Arrow first came out years
That's
ago.
DC stuff.
No, yeah, I know. Stick with me with this, right? Arrow came out, and they
before that you had Smallville.
They hadn't announced it as a DC TV series, but I knew it was because it's fucking Green Arrow, for fuck's sake. Then all of a sudden, all Daredevil started coming out, and then you had the Flash, then you had Gotham, and you had Luke Cage, and you had Jessica Jones, and it was just this big battle going on, and I'm like, nobody really cares about Luke Cage or Jessica Jones or Iron Fist, and
they are C-list superheroes.
They are C-list. Actual fans don't really get bothered with them unless they're getting involved in some of the kind of big stuff.
They're affordable TV show characters. They don't have the big galactic spectacles that the other superheroes would have.
You could build them up. I mean, look at
they could cameo in the Marvel movies.
Look at the success of Smallville, like you said. I mean, 10 seasons? Mm-hmm. You know, you could easily just milk them all, and you could have these characters appear every now and again in the Daredevil stuff to keep that stuff alive. What I mean,
DC Marvel hopping.
No, I meant Luke Cage and Jessica Jones jumping into Daredevil as appearance characters. Marvel, though. They are fucking loving it at the moment with the success of their films.
Well, of course.
The TV stuff was to help fund that. They don't need that anymore.
Well,
they don't need that anymore.
I think they might be buying these shows so that they can create the shows themselves to run on their own streaming network. But they need the rights.
They definitely own the characters, and that's why the next Fantastic Four movie will actually be good.
Rambo 5 now has a title, and it will be called Rambo Last Blood. Obviously, it's kind of joking on its original title, where it all started.
It's
with
not
First
really
Blood.
going to be the last one, is it?
Well, Sylvester Stallone has said it will be the last one. He wants it to be the last one, and it's going to be a Western. The images that are coming out is Rambo in a cowboy attire with a cowboy hat on a horse. And it's basically going to be dealing with Mexican cartels and going on a rescue mission across the border to get someone out.
Well, as long as it's as violent,
it's going to be as violent as the last one, but that's the
survival, cowboy survival. You know, him taking people out.
So I'm down for it. Yeah, I still can't wait for Creed 2. By the next podcast, we should have seen it. Hopefully,
by the next podcast, I should hopefully see Creed 1.
Yeah. Well, earlier we were speaking about film rights, and now the film rights yet again are up in arms as there is a potential for Jason to return. I said it in our Jason Friday the 13th remake review that it was the sequel to that was cancelled. The rights to the video game went all over the place, which stopped them making DLC. Yeah. But now, after what film just did spectacularly well? Halloween.
Oh, sorry.
Who needs to follow? Jason Jason Voorhees.
Okay.
But that just leads me on because you know who has to follow after Jason comes back?
Chucky.
Well, he's already coming back.
All right. Okay.
Which means he's come back like 3 times already.
Okay, Candyman.
Okay, so another Friday the 13th movie looks like it's going to be going ahead. Bloody Disgusting reported that avowed horror fan and occasional cosplayer LeBron James.
Isn't that the basketball player?
Yes. Yeah. And his own Spring Hill Entertainment Company are in talks with Vertigo Entertainment, who now own the rights, and they now have screenwriter Victor Miller, who's working on a new script. And it will also be said that James LeBron has now also convinced the same studio to get Space Jam 2 into production. But they are going forward with another Jason movie.
When I asked if it was the basketball player LeBron James, I thought you guys were going to rip me.
No, it actually is.
There's not too many LeBrons out there.
Right, okay. Right, so the next... They should actually call it that title as well, right? Jason Lives, another Friday the 13th movie, right?
That's just my notes.
Right? No, I know, but that's a great title. That should be the title, right?
But that just sounds like the parodies and not another fucking scary movie.
Because you have Jason, and the main guy will be Ice Cube, and they'll make their own Friday movie.
This isn't the late 90s.
Ice Cube, Mike Epps... fucking Chris Tucker. Is it Chris Tucker or is it Chris Rock?
Chris Tucker.
Chris Rock and Chris Tucker. Get them all in. Bit of Adam Sandler in there. Jason Voorhees. Maybe, he turns up at a cul-de-sac.
He's going to go and kill terrible filmmakers.
No, because it'll be like a comedy. Like you'll have Kevin James as well and David Spade, and it'll just be like it'll be like a black and white neighborhood with Jason in the middle. It'll be like a whole war thing. Man, you just told me a basketball player owns the rights for fucking Jason Voorhees.
He doesn't own the rights. Vertigo Entertainment owns the rights.
Which he owns.
But no, he's in talks with Vertigo Entertainment. He owns Spring Hill Entertainment.
But if he buys...
he's not buying it. He's talking to them going, look, you own the rights. My studio wants to make the film. Let's have a deal.
All right.
That's pretty much what's happening.
I'm still obsessed with the whole mouse controlling everything.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse owns a lot of stuff at the moment. He's the most powerful mouse in the history of mankind.
How many companies does he own? Because all I hear are people say that there's just a Mickey Mouse company around every corner.
On that note, We're going to bring this first part of the podcast to an end.
We're going to do the trailers quickly.
Okay,
do the trailers quickly. Yes, we always do the trailers. Can't miss the trailers.
Okay, well, the first trailer, and it is a film that I am quite excited to see because I do like director Joe Cornish's previous movie, Attack the Block.
Yeah.
Both enjoyed it.
Yeah,
His new film is The Kid Who Would Be King. And it is an updated Arthurian tale of a schoolboy who finds the sword Excalibur as Morgana is rising from the dead along with her legion of monsters.
Yes.
And it is a funny, satirical... it's Attack the Block, but with King Arthur backdrop instead of space aliens.
Yes.
The trailer had me when he's talking about how they have a round table and they're all sat around their kitchen table. But it's a fold-out table, so they fold it out and it becomes a circular table.
Man, I loved it when they had the sword and he's like, what's that saying? He's like, Google Translate it.
Right.
I was just like, this is... Because...
It's a modern tale.
It's a modern tale, but it's the same thing because we loved Attack the Block.
Yeah, absolutely.
When that film dropped, it's how much you can relate to it.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Cornish has managed to tap into
He's
that
got
young audience.
youth dialogue down really well.
I think he works very well with the people he's getting acting. So he's able to understand.
He turns them into stars.
Yeah.
I mean, John Boyega is fantastic in Attack the Block.
He's amazing. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw his and Edgar Wright's name on Ant-Man. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was Ant-Man because that's how I was.
Well, yeah, Edgar Wright got fired from.
But writing the story.
Yeah,
the two of them were working it, and I'm like, wow, these two low guys have come from writing these scripts, and big companies are like, we need you in.
Yeah,
we need some of your dialogue.
They get cherry picked, of course.
Yeah. It looks great.
The Kid Who Would Be King, and it's out pretty soon, I think. It might be a Christmas movie. I didn't actually check the release date.
Cool.
But there is a release date for Star Trek Discovery Season 2.
Yeah, you're loving this.
Of course I am. Everybody, the controversy about them having Spock in the second season, and of course in the trailer you find Spock and he's got a big beard, and everyone's like, why the fuck Spock got a beard? But I don't care. It's like it's not my Star Trek that I grew up with, but it is a Star Trek, and I am, I love sci-fi action adventure stories.
Well,
and it's visually great. I like some of the characters. I hope that it's better than the previous season, and I hope it is a little bit more episodic. But at the same time, I want an overarching story. It looks action packed.
Yeah, and I'm just really confused at how she's related to him.
Well, she's not biologically related to him.
No shit, Sherlock. There's just a few things like skin.
She was just raised. She was just raised by the same father.
Yeah, but
I'm sure they'll explain.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, she makes it a big thing about him being half brother, or half step brother, and I'm like, so she must have been found and adopted by Savick, I think his dad is.
Yeah.
And so. If they can make the relationship between Spock and the girl work really, really well, that will lead you to season 3 fucking easily.
Yeah.
You know? But it's got to work. You've got to be able to...
But I mean, it was the big question throughout the first season. It was like, why does Spock never mention he has a sister, throughout Star Trek? And then I'm like, well, in one of the movies, he never mentioned he had a brother called Cyborg.
No, he does not.
So,
fucking Cyborg. Yeah, let's talk about Cyborg.
Trying to get anything out of a Vulcan, It's like getting blood out of a stone. So next trailer was the Pet Sematary remake trailer. Don't go down that road.
Don't go down that road. It hit a lot of the points.
Yeah.
The truck, the kid, the scariness,
the cat,
the creepiness of the woods, the cat. After the success of it, I think it's going to do really, really well.
It probably will do. Yeah. I just thought it looked bland. I was just like, I don't actually feel like I need to see this story again. I think the first one's so effective. I said it about it. And the new It movie was actually really good because it was really well performed.
The trailer's very sort of generic, that fit kind of film.
Yeah. I know it's saving some of its scares.
When that kid gets hit by a truck, half the fucking...
Do I want to see it again?
Yes, you do. And you want to see half a cinema react, because I bet you money...
There won't be laughing people with this time round.
If somebody does laugh, the whole fucking cinema will get ready to kill.
Yeah. So, Ian, do you want to give the next...
Oh, yes. Kurt motherfucking Russell is Santa in Christmas Chronicles, coming out November 22nd on Netflix.
Enough said.
That's all you need to know.
The funny thing is, this is the reason why I ended up with Netflix.
I imagined it was because I knew it. I
didn't. I didn't book it. I showed the wife the trailer. I said, "Look, this is on Netflix," and she said, "Will we be able to watch it?" And I was like, "Yeah, Gary will be able to sort me out a film." And then I came home the next day and she's like, "We've got Netflix." I'm like, "Well, okay then."
Gary's that good.
You know.
But no, I'm so glad you got Netflix because now they have all these shows that you can watch.
I don't.
But actually, you watch 5 minutes of and go, "I've wikied it. I've seen it now." Next film.
But I definitely will be watching Kurt motherfucking Russell's Santa Claus. It'll be my new Santa thing. Yep. My new Santa anniversary. I mean,
your new Christmas favourite.
That fucking beard, man.
Yeah, that's probably his real beard.
Yeah, it probably is. Do you think the carpets match the drapes?
I'll leave you to contemplate that one, Ian. As we give the last trailer, Bird Box.
Yes.
With Sandra Bullock. And this is a reversal of Quiet Place, where instead of being able to make any noise, you need to be blindfolded and not see anything.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you got to be really loud all the time.
No, you can make as much noise as you want.
You've got to make noise so you can find each other. Basically, yeah, Sandra Bullock is a pregnant woman who is involved in an apocalyptic event on the world, but these creatures make you see your biggest fear. So halfway through the trailer, everyone
the event horizon came back to Earth.
Yeah, everyone starts slapping blindfolds on.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Yes, you've seen her performances and Miss Congeniality too.
The Net.
Oh man, I like The Net.
Of course you do.
Not a bad movie. Fucking, that was The Net before there was The Net.
Yeah, it was.
You know?
Well, again, on that note, we'll bring it into the first part of the podcast.
Yes.
And we'll be back discussing Star Wars and Adam Sandler movies. Great.
Oh, somebody kill me, please. Somebody kill me, please. On my knees. Pretty, please. Kill me.
And welcome back to part 2, where the theme for this podcast is Adam Sandler.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
Some people seem to think I might have something to get off my chest, Ian.
Yes,
you think?
you bring this upon yourself. You make it such a talking point for so long about you things you dislike, Gary. I love it when you dislike something because
because I do like a lot of stuff.
You like a lot of stuff, but then when you don't like something, it is a big no. There is absolutely no way you can get Gary to do what you're...
Immovable.
He's an immovable object. Like I said, I counterbalance this whole discussion with bringing Dave back in because Dave feels exactly the same way towards Star Wars. And I tried to get
And we had a Star Wars themed podcast before. There probably will be another.
Yeah, we did, and it was part of my idea to try and get Dave in because I wanted to counterbalance the conversation. We didn't want to be gushing all about Star Wars all the way through, which we did mostly.
I could have seen happening, which you know, let you boys rave
about our thing.
Yeah, but like I said, this is why this works out with this conversation because you're a bit of an Adam Sandler fan, Dave.
Yeah, I've seen. Free film, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Even that, like...
How did you cope?
We'll get into it.
Well, why not just say no? What is it about Adam Sandler that draws you?
I'd like to know as well.
See, are we talking about Adam Sandler? Are we talking about Happy Madison Films?
We're talking about the whole context of it. Let's start with something easy, okay? So back in 98, 99, Adam Sandler starts releasing a bunch of films. We get Billy Madison.
So you're not going to start at the start with like Man Overboard and some terrible
that was before he knew who he was. You know, that was when he was that's the SNL days.
Yeah.
You know, Saturday Night Live. That's where he's come from. Stand-up comedy, sketch shows, and pretty much the whole Adam Sandler shtick is that he is taking, those skit moments and turning them into feature movies. But we have, we recently reviewed The Blues Brothers. That came from a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, Saturday Night Live.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, and so there's plenty that have come from it. They've taken skits and turned them into popular movies.
Yes.
And Adam Sandler is still doing it. Did you notice all the others stopped?
Yes. Yeah,
Adam Sandler hasn't stopped 2 decades later.
And there is a reason for that.
Because there's still a fucking audience for it.
Exactly.
Which really, really hurts me. I look at, I don't want to upset people, because I know people like Adam Sandler, and I'm like, okay, go over there.
All right, hang on. Let me just get a seat over here.
Literally, I have to know, because there has to be more to it than just. There has to be something, because I just don't understand how you could follow him for so long.
We were discussing this
and put up with the same shit for so long.
The same shit, because obviously I wasn't supposed to be in this podcast. It was supposed to be Andy, but he's away at this moment doing something with his wife, Giggity.
Oh my!
And now Andy is a massive Adam Sandler fan. He kind of introduced me because
and me.
He had a copy of Little Nicky. He absolutely loved Little Nicky. I
that's the only one I don't like. And Spanglish.
Wait. hold on. What? You don't like Little Nicky?
I'm not a huge fan of when he puts on a stupid, annoying voice.
That's every goddamn film he's in!
It's not.
Yes, it is!
It's like Little Nicky.
Yes, it is!
Like Billy Madison, which I don't mind that film.
His whole face is stupid in the entire film.
Hey, I'm Nicky.
It looks like he's been slapped with a dead fish.
That's kind of how I imagine Gary imagines Adam Sandler movies to be. Remember in Little Nicky where his face is shoved on Scarface's body, and Scarface is just going around killing people? That's how Gary imagines Adam Sandler movies. All Adam Sandler movies. But he did Big Daddy at the same time, and I remember he did a slew of comedies around the 90s.
That was the foundations. At the end of the 90s was the foundation of the Happy Gilmore company.
And Andy,
Happy Madison.
And Andy introduced me to all these films, and I thought they were really good, but then at the same time I could see the jokes starting to repeat themselves. Now, he did some serious roles.
Some, like 3.
Which were, I'm trying to remember what they were.
Punch Drunk Love was the first film I ever saw him do where he performed like an actor.
Who directed that? Was that a Anderson film?
No, it wasn't. I can't remember who did direct it. But it was the film everyone was saying, oh, it's his breakout form, this is him doing something different from his normal routine.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. Let's see if he can perform, because I gave Will Ferrell, plenty of opportunities to show me a performance where he can act outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah,
and he can.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah,
it was Anderson, wasn't it?
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, and you know what? I honestly was bored rigid for Punch Drunk Love.
It's a very strangely structured film.
It is,
but his snaps in that film are powerful, I find.
I haven't seen it in nearly 15 years now.
When you say snaps, he goes
like
crazy.
Because he's like quite subdued
the entire
film, but then he'll just snap and he'll rage.
And
those scenes are really quite powerful, I find.
See, I haven't watched any Adam Sandler serious roles because.
Have you not seen Reign Over Me?
No.
I thought. No, have you seen that one, Go?
I haven't seen that one. No.
It was basically it's about, I think it's a psychiatrist or a doctor who meets Adam Sandler, who's just this insane wreck.
Okay.
And you find out it's because his family were all visiting the Twin Towers on 9/11.
That's that I've heard about this one as well.
And it's just, he can't react with civilization around him. Like, he just spends all his time playing Shadow of the Colossus, and he's just
detached from reality.
Wow, that's an amazing
thing.
He just can't deal. And it's a very strong and very...
Adam Sandler's there's a film that recently came out that's currently has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And it's the Meyerowitz stories.
Yeah, I've seen that on Netflix. I was like, that's...
Yeah, and it's, it's I think it's Ben Stiller might be in it as well.
Yeah.
And
I saw the
Dustin
trailer.
Hoffman.
I never watched it, so that's another.
I haven't seen it as well, but because you see the trailer, I'm like, okay, this is a serious, down to earth film.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, oh shit, it's fucking Adam Sandler. Put this on the to never watch list. Only because I've given up on him entirely. I don't care.
See, now you say about this 9/11 movie. Now, I never saw the serious ones, but like Anger Management came out.
Yeah.
And it was Sandler versus Nicholson. Which one of them can be more batshit crazy on screen? And after a while, it was like he was trying to always. He was always going back to the comedy roots because he always knew how those worked. But as an Adam Sandler fan, it's so predictable that sometimes I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this? What, I turn to the wife and I'm like, what are we watching? Grown Ups. I'm like, again?
Damn straight.
Again?
That was Grown Ups was the last straw for me with Adam Sandler. I turned the film off after 25 minutes, and I couldn't believe I'd made it that far into it, and that was when I was done. I take it back because I did watch Pixels because I wanted to see the train wreck that it was. I saw the trailer
It's
for it.
not that bad.
Oh, Ian.
I didn't
It's
mind
not
it.
that bad. That is
What do you hate about it, Kerr?
everything about it. The fact that he is a deadbeat character
I know.
and he is a deadbeat actor
It's fucking
in this
stupid, isn't
film.
it?
He looks wrecked. He looks disinterested.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to be on the set of the film. I can only imagine he just gave one take and walked off and just like whatever. What am I paid? Where's my cocaine? Where's my food? Where's my private jet?
But the thing is, when I walked into Pixels,
It's a shallow film.
I was in that zone. I was in that zone as well, where it was like I've gone through what is it? Just Go With It with Jennifer Aniston and fucking Adam Sandler, where he's he's a surgeon and he makes shitloads of money. Grown Ups, he's a fucking writer or architect or whatever. He makes shitloads of money in that. Click. He works for a fucking.
He's always got the big house.
He's always got the big house.
And the nice wife.
They've got the nice wife.
The
Life.
swimming pool outside.
Everything is going all fine up until somebody walks into Adam Sandler's life and says, "Action!" And then everything starts falling around him, and he's all over the place, and he's got to make that weird phrase.
He's got to go and meet some weird people that point him in the right direction miraculously, and it all works out in the end. But the thing is, with all of his films, is that there are no stakes to anything. It's like, what happens if he doesn't make that happen? Nothing.
But that's
It's like, so why do we care if that happens? Because Adam Sandler's making that face again. Laugh now, everyone. Applause sign.
But I think that's an Adam Sandler film.
Yes,
Especially
it is.
now.
You can literally just say, when you review an Adam Sandler film, you can now just say, it's an Adam Sandler film.
Get him, Dave.
You don't need to say any more than that.
I know, but I wouldn't go to the cinema to watch an Adam Sandler film.
Why? Well, it's good, because his film's not going to the cinema anymore.
I know, and that's exactly right, because his films are a Netflix film. You can stick it on for an hour and a half, you'll just have something stupid happen right in front of you.
Yeah.
And you have a few laughs, you can turn it off, switch off, forget about it. And I think that is why Netflix is perfect for Adam Sandler. You have no stakes. You're not spending out money, you're not taking a chance. But you just got an hour and a half, you can relax. Me and my wife love just to sit down and we can switch off for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Have something silly happen, stupid. Like Adam Sandler, his films are mainly Adam Sandler and his mates. They're just going to take the piss out of each other for an hour and a half. And that's all I need.
See, now, I watched The Cobbler on Netflix, right? Like I said, we recently got Netflix at home, and I said to
That's
myself...
not the first pick I would choose for Netflix.
Well, no, but hear me out. I for the podcast, I knew I was coming in, and we were going to be talking about Adam Sandler, and I thought, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to fucking jump headlong into an Adam Sandler movie that I haven't wikied. I don't know anything about it, and it was The Cobbler. And somehow Adam Sandler as a shoemaker manages to take on the persona, or take on the form of other people, like a fucking weird cobbling dark man. and has this whole convoluted storyline where at the end of the movie I turned to the wife and just like what you just said, we were sat there for an hour and a half just like, let's see what happens.
Does he turn into a stapler?
That's Rob Schneider.
Oh,
I'm talking about.
Just doesn't make any difference anymore.
Get it right. Get the lore.
But I watched a couple and I'm sat there and I'm like, half of me's like Gary at the moment. You know, absolutely hated that whole hour and a half. I could have done something better with my life. But then the other half is kind of like Dave. And I'm like, I did laugh at some point.
Yeah.
You know, Method Man was funny. Method Man was in the movie. You know?
Pretending to be Adam Sandler, no less.
Well, yeah, he was pretending to be Adam Sandler, who Adam Sandler was
So you
pretending
get
to
twice
be
the
him.
amount of Adam Sandler. Awesome.
But I came over and I was talking to Gary about it. And we were saying about how we live in a PC kind of generation now. Aren't Adam Sandler's jokes always pushing the envelope there? And that's why it does end
Being
up on
racially
Netflix.
offensive, you know, they poke fun at people that don't look like them.
Yeah, but it's him. He's taking the mick out of it.
Like, well, you could take You Don't Mess with the Zohan,
Yes.
which takes a huge political issue of like Palestine and Israel, and just make
turns it into a musical, basically.
you sort of brown up Rob Schneider, put some weird hair on his face, and
He hasn't
a
stopped
funny
doing
accent.
that yet.
And-
Ridiculous 6, which came out a little while ago.
Yeah.
The extras walked off the set.
Has anybody seen it? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I've
it.
seen it.
And?
Again, it was
The
him like
Ridiculous
Terry
6.
Crews and
It holds a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. 0%. It's his lowest rated film ever. And you can thank Netflix for giving him the money.
it was better than
It's like, Netflix, give that money to other good shows. Stop giving it to him. He doesn't need any more money.
I preferred it to that Family Guy bloke's Western film.
Million Ways to Die in the West. Yeah.
It was
That's
fair enough.
fucking atrocious. That's a fucking bad film.
But like, there are some of his films, like me and my wife will just love to watch, like The Wedding Scene, or
Now you have mentioned a good film there, and I as much as I hate Sandler, I have written down there was 2 films that were tolerable that I could actually sit through:
51st Dates.
Wedding Singer and 51st Dates.
Ah, there we go.
Wow.
And I think it's because in those films, those were the first 2 films where I just went, oh, these films have got a little bit of compassion. There's a little bit of thought gone into the script. There is an arc to the story. I like Drew Barrymore. She brought out a really good performance in Adam Sandler. Those are oddities. They really are. And if Adam Sandler was as diverse and as comedic as the audience seems to believe he is, there should have been more films like that. Not the same recycled Little Nickies, Jack and Jills, you know, grown-ups, funny people, Pixels,
Funny
Ridiculous 6. Just, you know, Don't Mess with the Zohan. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
I know,
you know?
you Chuck and Larry, like Chuck
I
and
like
Larry.
that.
I have just showered
Who's
you
the
all
guy
with
in the
some of the
shower?
shittest
in
film
the shower
titles
scene,
ever.
big guy from Pulp Fiction. What's he called?
Ving Rhames?
Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames.
Singing in the shower. It was brilliant.
I find that the cameos that he brings into his films are pointless. It's like, hey, look who we got into the film. Make them do something funny. Goodbye. They do nothing for the plot, nothing for the characters. They just turn up and gone.
See, talking about cameos.
And do you know how much money they would have gotten for doing that 5 minutes piece of work?
Loads.
Millions.
Millions.
And that was because Adam Sandler's budgets for his films are fucking astronomical. Jack and Jill, back in 2011.
See, that's one where...
$80 million.
$80 million on Jack and Jill. Oh my god.
What? They didn't even put him in an outfit. They didn't change his face. They put a wig on Adam Sandler and went, now you're the sister.
Well, it was Al
Really?
Pacino.
Yes.
Al Pacino was...
They
the
paid for...
budget
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that.
They paid for Al Pacino. You know, that's where the money went. Apparently, Adam Sandler makes minimum $20 million a film, and that's only his performance payment. He also writes, directs, and produces much of these films and
Yeah.
takes pay cuts for every one of those jobs that he takes. Plus, he also gets to bring all of his best friends from Saturday Night Live, all of whose careers are dead without him, into his film so that they can get nice heavy paychecks as well. Sony Pictures literally got exposed because there was a hack and all of the emails from Sony employees leaked out. And then all of a sudden there was no more Adam Sandler movies at Sony, and Netflix brought him up. And that was because Sony executives wanted him gone. The email literally said...
Oh, he's got the notes. He's got the notes.
We continue to be saddled with mundane, formulaic Adam Sandler films. Adam Sandler has been requesting private jets, fashion stylists and wardrobe departments wherever he goes, and the studio has to pay out of their pocket for him. These private jets cost up to $80,000 a flight.
You remember Mr. Deeds?
Yeah.
When he's jumping around in the street about how drunk he is? That's how he's imagining Adam Sandler right now.
And then to top it all off, the Sony executives get it in the ear when Adam Sandler doesn't like the fact that he has to do 5 hours worth of work promoting the film he's just made. He gets restless and irritable having to talk about the film he's done, and obviously he doesn't do it anymore. For the last 20 years, Adam Sandler refuses to talk to film reviewers, critics, because of how they lambasted all of his films. And so for 20 years, he's never said a word to promote his films. So 95% of any Adam Sandler movie is a commercial. It is product placement, and that's not even included in the budget these films are being given. This is all payment.
I know, but this is just like
they brought in The Godfather to make Dunkin' Donuts commercial in the middle of a goddamn film, and that's why I get upset when I'm like, wow, Jack Nicholson, amazing actor, gets dragged into a fucking Adam Sandler film. Al Pacino gets dragged into a fucking Adam Sandler film.
But that's the thing, it's same complaint you can say with like the Kardashians. Like, I can't fucking stand the Kardashians, and I don't understand their hype, but they are freaking geniuses in what they do. They know how to make money. They know how to support their life.
Yeah. They
like, if I had his start, if I could do what he did, if I could have this freaking treadmill of money coming in, I couldn't say I wouldn't do it.
He has. I mean, you can't deny that, Gary, that Adam Sandler has.
So you're going to say you're going to continue letting him exploit your wallets
but
your
he's
time
not anymore.
To keep feeding him?
Wait.
Like I'm saying, he's not anymore. He's click on a button on Netflix now.
Yeah.
And that is what that's what scares me, is that Netflix did actually release this information.
Okay.
Because Ridiculous 6 broke Netflix's record for the most watched film ever.
That's the 0%
on Netflix.
One, yeah?
No, it's the 0% one.
The 0%
was the most watched film within 30 days of its release on Netflix history. And I just baffled. And you obviously the 0% score is the critics' score. I'm guessing the audience score is about 50%.
Yeah.
Because those that stumbled across it by accident either, hated it and gave it low scores, and then the Adam Sandler fans went, "It's Adam Sandler." Love it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's like, because it is there, I can just sit down. I might get, 10 laughs out of it, but I didn't pay for that. I'm not that invested.
See, just to break the momentum for the moment, to give Gary's throbbing vein on the side of his head a second
I'm just going to
purge.
Go.
I was going to balance it because, like I said, the conversation is more about Adam Sandler and Star Wars. Dave, you don't like Star Wars, do you?
Nope.
Well,
I just...
Is it on the scale of how much Gary doesn't like Adam Sandler as how much you don't like Star Wars?
No. See, I don't get the hype for Star Wars. I think Star Wars is 95% nostalgia.
Right.
That is kicking and screaming every year down the line.
I'll let you go.
Because I haven't watched anything past the original trilogy. I've just heard the internet bitching about Star Wars for the last 20 years.
Right.
And see, I was born in 1985.
Yeah.
So I watched the original Star Wars probably when I was about 7, so 92.
Yeah.
Now, I understand how amazing those films must have been, releasing in the 70s, like the effects. And...
Nothing else quite like it.
Exactly. But when I watched it in 92, I thought it looked like asshat.
like an Adam Sandler movie.
Well, he doesn't need the effects. Like, he just puts on a wig, and you don't have to pretend he's in space.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't care for Star Wars, so it wasn't like a lot of parents now, I find, because I have kids of my own. They're like, Star Wars is amazing. Watch Star Wars. Oh, my kid loves Star Wars now.
Yeah. It's a hole to it that you can accidentally fall down.
Yeah, it's the same with, like, I don't know, football in this country.
Yeah,
you were brought up, you've got to like football. If not, you're not gonna fit in.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be a weird social deficit.
Well, I mean, there was a phase, quite a big, long phase, where being an open fan of Star Wars was likely to have your lunch money stolen off you, you know?
When Phantom Menace came out.
You know?
Really? Because everybody seemed to like Star Wars.
But it went away.
It was the obsessive, I need to collect everything, all the toys, read all the books. That, I would say, was...
Yeah.
The fuck's wrong with me? The same with, like, comic books. Like, when I used to collect comic books in the 90s, like, I wouldn't even mention it to anyone.
See, I think Star Wars is... When I think of Star Wars, I think of it as, like, a crowning achievement in cinema. You know, George Lucas had an idea and he got a team together to make that film, as stressful and as painful as it was for him to make that original trilogy. You know, he had the idea and a team to do it. Mixing miniatures with puppets, with actors, having these special effects, and it being a family adventure movie, a space opera. And for me, I see Star Wars as a very accessible gateway to Imagination Land, where anything is possible, where you have your heroes and your villains and everything's pretty obvious. But it's on a simple form that is why it has such a universal following, because it is pretty straightforward, you know?
Maybe that was why it rubbed me the wrong way. It starts with in a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Here are humans speaking English. I'm like, what?
Exactly. Well, it would be very difficult if they all spoke in a different language and the whole film was subtitled. You know,
but then what did it say, like, in the future?
Because it needs to be detached from us. It means it can have nothing to do with any of the issues that are going on Earth. Even though
just but it is basically Earth. But we're going to put our space twist on it. Like a bar. You know, bars. Everybody goes to bars. But they're going to have funny space drinks.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And it's just like,
it is a fantasy. It is.
It's not
It's not
fantasy enough for me. It's so tied to our reality that it just, it starts off with just putting me off, like, no, it doesn't make sense. Why are the humans speaking English a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away?
So kind of like when Gary sits down to watch an Adam Sandler movie. He's like, this doesn't make any sense!
Oh no, it makes sense, because I can see the pattern, and I can see what he's doing. I can see the product placements and the commercials, the fucking cheapness and laziness of his performances, the filmmaking. You know what also really pissed me off? Is that Dean Cundy, a legendary cinema photographer, was the guy they forced to film Jack and Jill.
They forced.
Well, they paid him. It's like, why did you do it? Like, it's a big paycheck. It's like, but you directed The Thing in Back to the Future. I didn't direct, I'm sorry, did the cinematography.
And did the cinematography for Jack and Jill.
Yes. And that just makes me hate Adam Sandler even more.
But I find the dialogue in Adam Sandler films a lot better than Star Wars.
Nice.
That was a really horrible thing to say, because Star Wars is film. Adam Sandler films are not. They are trash.
Why do you think the script is
I find it so cringeworthy, a lot of the dialogue in that film. It is so over-the-top cheesy, and some of it is just poorly acted. You've got to give me
now,
that.
We've got to give him credit. This guy has not seen The Last Jedi.
No, not seen any of the Force Awakens, Last Jedi, or Solo.
And come on, Last Jedi,
or the prequels,
Last Jedi, or even Phantom Menace. You know,
Well, I watched one of the new the second trilogy. It was a scene like a spaceship was like crashing down and they were fighting.
that narrows it down, Dave. Really,
It was like a big spaceship. It was like, I don't know, crash landing and or blowing up, and they were fighting on the ship or something. I don't know. There's aliens.
Man, are you sure that was even Star Wars? Like Star Trek?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Do you have an issue with sci-fi, Dave?
I'm not a huge sci-fi fan.
There we
I got
go.
to admit.
There we go.
But I think that stems
Was it
from
because your
Star
problems
Wars.
with the beginning of Star Wars is can be said for so many.
It's
Well,
because
yeah.
Adam Sandler hasn't made a sci-fi movie yet.
No, I don't think he has.
That's because it wouldn't surprise me if he did. I wouldn't care if he did.
But I just.
Adam Sandler movies, they never adapt. The material is just recycled. He offers nothing new. It's the
We're
same
talking about
formula
recycled.
over and over.
Aren't these new
You've
Star
seen
Wars films?
One Adam Sandler film? You've seen every Adam Sandler film.
But aren't these new Star Wars films pretty much the exact same as
yeah,
the
I
first
will
one?
agree with you. The
And like
Star
Solo
Wars,
is just like this character. We're got nothing new to
the
present
Star
to
Wars
the
prequels
audience.
have their issues. The Star Wars series by Disney have some serious issues, and I have a lot of issues with The Last Jedi. You know, I'm with Mark Hamill, and I fundamentally disagree with everything that they have done in that film. And so, but I still love Star Wars. You know, I've watched Star Wars Rebels. I've watched Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I'm watching Star Wars Resistance. I played Star Wars: the Star Wars video game, Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars the Knights of the Old Republic. You know, I like my Star Wars.
So in the timeline of Star Wars, is there a reason why everything went shit?
Everything went to shit. As in,
Like if you look at the prequels,
Yeah.
like
It
the
expl-
technology and this like.
well, that's,
Everything there looks really good, but then in the future everything's a bit naff.
but that's
and
because
doesn't look so
the Republic at the time, which is a collective of all of the planets, are at war with the Separatists, which are the Droid Army, and of course the Droid Army, the guy in the Republic who becomes the main Chancellor is Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
So he manipulated the good guys and the Jedi's from the get-go, obviously all dead.
Yeah.
He takes over. But there had been war for so long, and then obviously then you're outside of the main galactic empire in the other films.
Yeah, he just takes over.
So what you're seeing out there is the rundown, what's left, what the empire has not taken for itself.
Yeah, but the Empire stuff isn't that good either.
Well, it was made in the 70s, you know?
Yeah,
and
no, but it's like the new Aliens game. Isolation, like they went
retro
out of their
technology
way
to retro it all.
yeah, to make it fit.
Yeah, because it was like the technology in Alien.
But why didn't they do that with the prequels? Why didn't they like...
That's again. I said it in my review for it. I was like, with George Lucas did, you know.
Yeah. Everything started off looking all shiny and nice, but we didn't like it. We wanted.
And the explanation I make to try and cover it in the Alien universe is that this is a mega corporation ship. That was a mining ship, you know.
Yeah.
So the top of the range versus space truckers.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
that-
there would be a technological
that
makes
difference.
sense to me.
You're like you said. You've seen the original the original three:
Yeah.
New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi.
Uh-huh.
Right. You understand the Force?
No, to me the Force felt like a MacGuffin. To way of getting out of... George Lucas wanted these scenes and it felt like space magic to
Yeah,
write
it's space
himself
magic.
out of...
Well, it was
plot holes.
we mentioned his name earlier, Gary Kurtz, who passed away. He was the one who pretty much came up with the
Yeah.
Force, or telling George Lucas to expand on the Force
Yeah.
as this mystical thing for the series.
So it's space magic, yeah.
It is. It's space
Now-
wizards.
Now you never saw Phantom Menace,
No.
right? So in Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, the one that starts the whole story off about Anakin Skywalker, how he gets his children, Emperor Palpatine. They explain in that one that it's in the blood. there are these things. Was it midichlorians?
Midichlorians
are in the blood, and the more midichlorians you have, the stronger to the Force that you have. Okay, they completely retcon that in Attack the second episode. They're just like, no, it's not in the blood. So now I'm looking at your face, and the funny thing is, that coming off the back of seeing Gary with his notes about Adam Sandler, and he's ready to go again. He's cocked and locked. Both these guys have this same face of these two different subjects where they're just like, what the fuck?
And it's just coming, like, it's just basically the simple good versus evil. Good guys in the white clothes, bad guys literally all in black.
Adam Sandler rolling into town.
Bad for the sake of being bad, and they're gonna Empire is just bad, so they're gonna take over everything because they're bad, and it's just so simplistic and stupid.
It is. I mean, people use the argument, well, it's made for kids, it's made for children.
Yeah,
and you know what? The children of the original Star Wars grew up, had their own kids, and of course they're sharing that bond, that connection with their kids about something that they've loved that keeps them together, and you know they share the love of Star Wars, because it was a huge impact on film and on people. And now that it's even more celebrated, now that it's even more divided with its recent films, Star Wars is simplistic, and it is clear cut villains and heroes. But like I said, it's still the main. I have issues with the main Star Wars. I think they have run out of ideas, and they are recycling and remaking the other films almost, or then The Force Awakens almost beat for beat. But the extended lore of Star Wars, there is so much more of it. There's novels and books and games that explore that universe so much more, and because it has such a worldly known template, everyone knows the basics of the Force, the Jedis, the Sith, the Rebels, the Empire. You've got all those templates, and so there are all those canvases to tell unique and different stories in. That's why it's accessible. That's why there's so many characters and so many stories in there.
But don't you think that's the exact same with Adam Sandler?
No. I think he struggles to fill a film with enough skits to make it qualify as a film.
But he still pulls off a performance, which
barely. You know what? I'm gonna quote one of my most respected film critics of all time, Roger Ebert, on what he has to say about Adam Sandler.
Oh man, Roger Ebert, he has off days.
Yeah,
I know he does. But this is what he said. All the same, Adam Sandler is making a tactical error when he creates a character whose manner and voice has the effect of fingernails on a blackboard, and then expects us to hang in there for a whole movie. That I completely agree. It is because it's as if the studios are paying Adam Sandler and his friends to go on luxurious holidays with a camera crew. And I tried to think of how I would counterbalance why I dislike Adam Sandler so much, and it is because he has not changed his style in so long that I've grown tired of it, and beyond tired to irritable to where I am now.
But isn't that comedy in general though?
No, I would say that he is just like Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Tom Green, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider. Yeah. But where have they been? Schneider. Where have they been for the last 20 years? Either in an Adam Sandler movie or nowhere.
Well, because they can't write as well as Adam Sandler.
It is because they were one thing only and then gone. And they're not remembered or hated upon because they didn't keep doing the same thing for 20 years.
But doesn't that say something well about Adam Sandler, that he's able to change himself, even though for yourself he looks exactly the same?
He has not changed. And he's physically gotten older.
Man, I watched The Cobbler. He definitely changed.
Now, what do you mean changed? Is in his character changed by the end of it? Or because I would say, because now this is another one of my points that I've got, is that he will have he will show you for an hour and a half Commercial, product placement. Somebody gets hit in the nuts. Somebody falls over. somebody pretends to be an Asian person. Somebody pretends to be a black person. Somebody swaps gender. And then at the end, it gets all serious for a moment where Adam Sandler sheds a tear and the music swells up and the audience go, oh, the whole film has meaning now. I'm like, you fucking suckers. He has just ripped you off, hit you with an emotional beat at the end, so you walk away going, that was good. I felt something.
Yeah, you can say that about
after an hour and a half of his shit. Of course you'd be sat there with tears.
But isn't that the same with every comedy?
No!
Every rom-com, it's like the jokes and then there's that stupid misunderstanding or whatever at the end.
Rom-coms are all formulaic, but Adam Sandler keeps regurgitating more and more and more and more of the same type.
Yeah, but I just think it's the case that you don't like his comedy, and you never will, but he has millions in his audience. Just like, is it Tyler Perry?
Much like Star Wars.
No, isn't it Tyler Perry that makes those, what's that stupid woman, Medema? No, I can't remember now.
Steve Tyler's the lead singer of Aerosmith.
No.
They did the Hot Chicks, was it? No, that was
that was the Wayans Brothers.
Yeah,
I love the Wayans Brothers.
I think it's Tyler Perry, but he has his audience. He churns out the same film over and over again, and they're always big with his audience.
But, you say this Tyler Perry. I've never seen him. I don't think
I've actually seen one of his films
because he's not as successful in your eyes and maybe my eyes as well. He's not as successful as Adam Sandler. He's probably not able to do it as well. Like the Wayans brothers, they managed to keep their careers alive, but they managed to just turn things into parodies.
Well, yeah, and that's what I say. Every time a new kind of genre-breaking film would come out, they would just parody it. You know, after Scream, and then Scary Movie, and then 300, and then there was Epic Movie, and I don't know, it just kept going. Yeah, but now I would say with comedians, all the ones that I listed just now are all the ones that got stale because they didn't change. They just remained pretty much the same. I would say that there's the mid-ground ones like Will Ferrell, who most of the time you're going to get another Anchorman, you're going to get another, was it Brothers or
He's
whatever.
never done an Adam Sandler movie, has he?
No, he hasn't, but he has his own style of comedy films, and he doesn't ever really put on what I would consider a performance other than him just being a prankster or being who he is.
Being a comedy character.
Jim Carrey was in that rut for quite a while, where he just kept producing really stupid films. Ace Ventura, and The Mask, Liar. But he did end up doing things like The Truman Show, and he did go on and do other, more serious roles. And he has evolved and also had setbacks. But Man on the Moon,
he hit superstardom. I was never under the illusion that Adam Sandler would ever reach.
Well, he did with his first sort of 4 films. He
not compared to Jim Carrey though.
But
I mean, Jim Carrey was on another fucking level compared to Adam Sandler. They were neck and neck for a time, but you saw something in Jim Carrey that wasn't there in Adam Sandler, and I think that's the more writer aspect of Adam Sandler.
But I think Jim Carrey has more of a chance of putting someone off straight away. Like Ace Ventura, his character in that's going to turn. Like my mum wouldn't watch that film; she would just hate it and think it was too stupid.
Saturday Night Live character?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
But and then I would have comedians that I would consider that have evolved throughout their careers and was what kept them fresh, interesting, respectable, enjoyable entertainers, like Robin Williams, who went for a range of different types of comedy films.
Yes, yeah.
Bill Murray, so many different types of comedy films. Gene Wilder, Steve Martin, Steve Carell, just to name a couple of others, that do different types of comedy films. They work with different people. They don't just keep recycling the same stuff like Sandler does. I find his
But they also have a small filmography. Like, they pick and choose their roles.
Yes.
And
they're not just milking a Hollywood studio or a Sony Pictures for more money.
Yeah, but if they're going to offer you it, it's not going to go, I don't want to do that.
But the weird thing is, right, now hearing all that you've just said, in my mind, all I'm thinking is Adam Sandler not only looked up to all of those comedians on his way up to where he is, but he also took the other path, like with what Dave just said, where those actors
sold out.
Yeah.
He did. He potentially he did, because they all picked and chose, and so they, like you said, they have a small filmography, but they have these really great big roles. A lot of them only started doing serious roles after.
Exactly, because they
roles.
outgrew the characters that they had played then, and so they needed to play, something else.
But the thing with someone like Adam Sandler, he's not going to stop unless he has to.
And he does.
He's not going to.
He
Exactly.
does immature comedy quite well for his craft.
And some films are a bit more adult with swearing and adult, like Grown Ups. There was quite a lot inappropriate for children, but he actually does do. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember the film now. Is it Bedtime Stories?
Oh, where he's reading the stories to his kid, and he's running the hotel as well.
My kids really like that. It's harmless. It's family fun. It's simple.
Man, Click gets really dark towards the end.
I really like Click.
I'm saying
it had a good
It's
message.
the same bullshit for 2 hours, and then we need to have a dark tearjerkery moment right at the end.
Yeah,
But
but
that's
it
fine.
surprised me when I watched it, and I think that's why at the same time I do like going back.
It is false sentimentality, and it is manipulating you as an audience to think that the film is better than it actually was.
And that's fine, but like
It's cringeworthy how they pull it off.
He's not going for an Oscar. He's not trying to make art. He's just like
He's looking for 20 million and a jet.
yeah. He's just like for an hour and a half. I'm just going to entertain you. I'm going to put a new idea like with Click with a stupid remote where you can pause time and like make everyone think. Well, what would I do if I had that remote control? And like, here's a few skits and scenarios.
Yeah, it's a neat little concept, dragged and padded out. Yeah.
One of his best rehash remakes was The Longest Yard.
Yeah, I quite like that.
When he remade Mean Machine and brought in just all those wrestling stars and put them on a football field, I was like, yeah,
that
Adam Sandler.
recently passed away. Mustache.
Ric Flair.
No.
Guy from ZZ Top.
No, famous actor from
Hitler. Burt Reynolds. Dave.
Burt Reynolds, yeah. He was in that. He was quite good in that.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds was great. I mean, he was in the original Mean Machine.
Yeah.
And sticking in the comedy element of Adam Sandler in there kept the film above the dark tone of this is an all-male prison, half these guys are murderers. Look, it's the Great Khali. Look, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look, it's Kevin Nash. We got fucking...
Jason Statham.
We got Jason Statham in there.
No, or was that Mean Machine?
No, yeah, he wasn't. No, he wasn't Mean Machine.
Yeah, it was Mean Machine.
He was
the remake of Mean Machine. He was the crazy one.
Goldberg.
Goldberg,
Goldberg, yeah. It's always the bald head. But it worked, and I knew that the morale was coming at the end because I'd already seen Mean Machine. Sticking Adam Sandler in, I thought to myself, he pulls off this role, and if you replaced him, it would be the exact same thing, just like you said. It'd be the exact same film. But would it be as good with Adam Sandler in? A lot of his films, they wouldn't have survived
without him. I don't know.
Without him, yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
Pixels would never have survived without him. And I know you absolutely hate Pixels. I know a lot of people do, and I've watched it. It's bad. But when you see those fucking Space Invaders start coming down,
or like the Millipede.
The film was made just so that you would say that.
Exactly, and I appreciate
it's
that.
like the studio went, everyone's really nostalgic right now. What do we do?
Exactly. I mean, I could sit and I could watch something like Mandy, which is,
gonna blow your brains out your ass.
Or I could just turn Pixels on, sit back and go, nostalgia, funny fart joke.
I understand what you're saying, Gary, but weirdly enough, that's exactly the same way as I feel about Star Wars. Last Jedi, nostalgia hits you, and I'm like, I have to go see it in the big screen.
But because I don't like Star Wars, it would be like you went to the cinema and everything's Adam Sandler mad. You go to the toy shop and it's Adam Sandler toys down an entire walkway. You go into any supermarket, everything's branded with Adam Sandler.
Get Adam Sandler breakfast cereal. Adam Sandler duvet
So when
covers,
I don't like something, but
Adam Sandler
the
video
entire
games.
world is basically
Yeah.
pounding down on me, but Adam Sandler could disappear tomorrow, make no more films.
But
nothing will change.
At least Star Wars isn't offensive. At least it's, you know...
It's offensive.
It's offensive with... At least, I mean, all of the things that are in the film are the toys that they sell. And I know they create, you know, different spaceships and creatures just to sell toys.
It's like, oh, look at that background creature. We're going to give it a name. And then we're going to release a toy, and then we're going to make that toy rare, and everybody's going to go crazy for this toy, and this stupid background alien's going to be the freaking greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to feel elite by saying, he's my favourite character. He was on the screen in the background for 2 seconds. Fuck off. Like Boba Fett nonsense in the crowd. Like,
you can talk about my Boba Fett.
He's shit.
Yeah, he is.
And he
I don't
dies like a
understand
pussy
the love
bitch.
for him as well.
And it's just
the
like the
extended
weird...
lore's fault.
Yeah, it's just like that weird fandom of it. It's just like, I'm going to take this silly background thing and it's going to be the greatest thing ever, and I'm going to make 5 million memes about it. It's going to be brilliant.
The filmmakers didn't do that. George Lucas had no idea that character was going to explode like he did, and he said if he knew that the fans were going to love that costume so much, he wouldn't have thrown him into the pit to be eaten.
Yeah.
You know? And so George Lucas knew he made a mistake there, but he never knew that it was a big character. For him, it was like, I need a bounty hunter costume and give him a name and make up a backstory, and that's it. And the fans just latched onto it because, like I said, it's a simple thing. But you just see it for a moment and you go, I wonder what his story is. You know, because you see it on this canvas. It's only a part of the big thing.
And the worst thing about Star Wars is the fandom. I mean, there are no crazy fans of Adam Sandler out there, are there? There is no giant freaking angry forums about Adam Sandler's lore and all that. Like,
There might be one of those.
I get the prequels as a kids' film.
Well, I mean,
when it came out, those films were popular with kids, right?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
It was the adults that were like, what the fuck is this? He's killed my childhood. But it was popular. The toy sold well. The kids loved it. And
yeah.
I think it was always meant to be for kids.
Yeah, that's how I've always seen it.
And I think the more people don't realise that, the more they get angry, the more they blow up forums with their freaking pissy rage about every new thing that comes out.
Their rage is justified in terms of the people writing the stories having and disregarding any respect for the stories that existed before they inherited this thing.
Then why didn't they just make the original trilogy? Everybody loves that. The people that grew up with that. Then why didn't they just do something completely new, set another universe away, call it Star Wars, have that as that kid's Star Wars? It's not going to piss you off because it's not shitting
kind of
on
what they're doing now. They're trying to expand.
But they didn't do it that way. They decided to bring in what was left of the old and kill it off in front of everybody.
Yeah, kill it off one by one. And then,
yeah.
When they could have just then, like, this is another story. A long time ago. Not long time ago, like the original.
They just didn't give the fans what they wanted for 30 years.
Should a filmmaker be making a film just for what the people want, or should they be making the film they want to make?
He made a film to make the film he wanted to make. That's Rian Johnson. That's what he wanted to do. And he was given carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do. Be damned the through line of a new trilogy.
Is that the director of...
Yeah, of the Last Jedi.
Would you say...
Looper? Is he a Looper director?
Yeah, I didn't actually like Looper. I walked out of the cinema going, that was boring and awful.
Would you say Adam Sandler'd it?
No, I wouldn't say Adam Sandler did. I would say that Rian Johnson has a talent, for sure. He can make films.
You walked out on one of his films?
Looper, yeah.
I really like the... I like
you say he can make films, but you walked out on Looper and you don't like Last Jedi.
No, I don't like The Last Jedi.
What other films has he done?
I can say that The Last Jedi it looks slick. It is visually and audibly impressive, although the audio lacks in some areas. It is a visual masterpiece. It's very well edited and put together, but the story and the characters are awful.
And what about Looper?
It was predictable.
What was his first director film? It was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It was in a school. It was like a murder. It was like an indie film. It was really good.
High School Murder
Brick,
movie.
no.
Brick.
Brick, yeah, Brick. Yeah.
Brick, no. Brick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one as well.
What else was... I am a huge fan of Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah,
I like my kung fu fighting.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I don't like about Star Wars. I find the action is, especially in the original trilogy, slow. It's irritating. It's like some of it, like
Luke wasn't trained by a martial artist. He was literally a farmer given a sword.
Yeah,
you know?
but they're trying to
and he
pass
fights
it
like
off.
a farmer with a sword.
He does get trained by a little green Muppet.
Yeah, to handstand and raise stones and
but there's a
darkness
fight scene between Darth and the old bloke.
Yeah,
that is fucking awful. That fight scene is terrible.
The old bloke, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Like a name and legend in the Star Wars universe.
But these fight scenes are not good.
No, I would agree with you. It's not good. But the thing that elevates that scene is the characters, the presence that they have on screen. The fact that they're not very good sword fighters.
You would hate the last fight sequence in episode 3.
Yeah, probably.
You would absolutely.
Well, it lasts like an hour and a half, doesn't it?
Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi versus
spinning everywhere and jumping everywhere, and again, I would also agree that they look choreographed, you know, so that they time everything right. At least I can say in Hong Kong films, it looks raw and it looks like if one of those people doesn't block, they're going to get decapitated. You know,
but I mean, I'm just explaining a reason why it didn't resonate with me. Like,
I can understand that if you're looking for as a martial arts fan, in cinema, you're definitely not going to see it that much in Star Wars, despite how well choreographed it is.
It's always bothered me with like
because the characters were flat,
like medieval films and sort of fantasy films where you got two people sword fighting and it's that annoying. We're going to just keep hitting swords.
Yeah,
you're not actually going to go for killing attacks.
I can go head down, smack him in the head, dumbass.
Well, I'm just going to close out with my final thoughts on Adam Sandler films. And I'm just going to say that I find them soulless.
Not all. Remember you said the wedding scene.
Okay, so 95%.
No, fool. He's released a lot of films. So
95% of his films are soulless, lazy cash cows filled with product placement, fart jokes, sex jokes, animals getting injured, pointless cameos, racism, sexism, and as I said, worst of all, it's false sentimentality, which it forces on you at the end of most of his films. Now, I know comedy and humour is all subjective. You like what you like, and I personally despise watching him. I literally cannot and will not tolerate his screen presence anymore. They are plotless films. They have no stakes, no charm, no artistic style, no effort. And his early films may not have started off that way, but he is a hack. He has sold out, and he belongs where he currently is on streaming services.
I can't wait for the next film. Netflix film.
Yeah.
I'll be there day one.
They've just signed him on for 4 more.
That's just...
Whoop, whoop.
Also, everybody should check out That's My Boy with Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
That film's awesome and there's Vanilla Ice in it.
So you don't recommend any Star Wars movies? We haven't tried to convert you. We haven't,
Nah, it's not for me. I'm the freaking 1% here. It will never... Like, Donnie Yen was in the film and I fucking love Donnie Yen. I won't watch it. I won't watch it.
Like 95% of Adam Sandler's movies. You just won't watch it.
No, like I don't even have a wedding singer when it comes to Star Wars. I'm afraid.
It's because you've probably not gone and sampled the media outside of the core films.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But have your Star Wars.
You're just gonna
I'm not
I've
going
got
to
my
win.
Star Trek. I've got my Star Wars, Star Trek, Red Dwarf. Yeah, I got my sci-fi.
Gary's happy that I will sit and I'll have a really nice romantic evening with the wife watching Adam Sandler film. He won't begrudge me that. He won't do it himself. And,
I've just been thinking of your poor brain cells.
Gary can put a big furry suit on with a crossbow and he can go out and have a nice Star Wars theme party. Brilliant.
I'm not that big into Star Wars, to be honest, really.
Oh, and the fucking little bear men. What the fuck's that? I didn't even get to that point. Oh, what are they? Wookiee? No, Ewok. Bullshit. That was embarrassing. End of.
Man, yuck. He was awesome.
Oh, yuck. I mean, how can you say that in public and not go fucking put your shirt
I'm just
over your
doing
head?
it to antagonise you now. He was awesome now.
Oh man.
Ian, you want to have some final words on the topic?
Man, I've enjoyed this whole massive topic. Just watching the two of you balance the conversations of your absolute hatred towards Adam Sandler and finding out that Dave has never actually gone outside the original trilogy. That's new, you know?
There's so much anger I never needed.
Watching the two of you,
you'll end up ranting like me if you just keep exposing yourself to it.
But
see, avoiding Adam Sandler has also been just as impossible when I have, Ian and Andy as friends. When I turn onto Netflix and it pops up the top of the screen, it's still there.
The weird thing with Adam Sandler is, like I said to Ian earlier, his films are shit. But I enjoy that shit.
Yes, and I agree that you do.
Like, he isn't going to win an awards. He's not going to make a film that...
No, I'll tell you, I will give you a fact, is that Adam Sandler holds the world record for releasing a film that won all 10 Razzies in one go. In 1 year.
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
Yeah, man.
So he does win awards.
Not the right ones.
Not the ones he wants.
And when he sat in his mansion, put his feet up on his stacks of money...
On his private jets.
On his private jet, on Al Pacino on speed dial.
He's looking over at the
He's George at least they're talking about me.
George Lucas on his mound of money.
It makes me worry. I reckon he can't even turn off his film persona anymore. He's just like that in real life all the time.
That's
probably.
It's him all the time.
But
or you see those scary pictures where he looks honestly depressed. I'm just like, man, do I care? Do I care anymore?
I'd love to see him turn up in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, no, he's got his life down. He knows how to make his money. I just you do see him in press and stuff looking down. I hope he is happy.
Yeah, well, money doesn't buy everything.
I know. I wouldn't like to one day see that he fucking had enough and he did what some other stars.
Yep. I don't want to say it in case I don't want to jinx him. I still don't wish that upon him. I just wish he would stop releasing films near me.
Dark tone.
Yeah.
But like an Adam Sandler
He
film,
kills himself. I said it.
like an Adam Sandler film, we're going to twist it, and we're going to come back with a happy ending.
Yeah. Tearjerker moment, falsely earned. Ian, do you want to bring this to a close?
Oh man, stay with us for part 3, the Q&A section.
Now, welcome back to the third part of the podcast where we're going to be answering your questions.
I love this section.
Nice one.
Nice.
And our first question's from Matt Midgley.
Hey Matt.
My question for the next podcast is, if you were stuck on an island for a year and could take one celebrity, one fictional character from film, and one fictional character from TV, who'd you choose? And thanks again for all your hard work. Double fist bump.
Obviously, Adam Sandler for celebrity. Adam Sandler as a fictional character.
Which one? Does it matter?
No, it's the same
You're just
person.
you want to hang out with Jack and Jill and Pacino.
Well, if
for a year.
If I get lonely, he's willing to put on the wig. Everybody wins.
Ian?
I'm stuck on Adam Sandler now. Well, I mean, are we thinking realistic, or am I just going crazy on this one? Because realistically, I'd take Bear Grylls for the celebrity and the fictional character. Because I don't.
Does he play a character?
I think he plays a character on TV.
Doesn't play himself.
He doesn't play himself. You know, obviously himself. He's got his own house and family and stuff, and on TV he's like stuck on an island.
I don't know.
Searching for food. Do you know who Bear Grylls is?
Not really.
Yeah, he's
I've
like
heard bits and pieces.
I don't even think
Survivors
Bear Grylls knows who Bear Grylls is.
He's been on an island so long.
See, I'd worry about taking a celebrity, especially one of your heroes, and then you end up stuck on an island.
You really hate him.
And yeah, by the end you're like, I fucking hate you.
You've just eaten Bill Murray.
Yeah, I'd love to take like Bill Murray or Jackie Chan, but I'd end up just fucking losing my patience and despairing at the end of my life.
I would take, as my celebrity, I'll take Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Because he can just talk, and you can talk about all kinds of movies and TV shows, and you've always got someone to talk about.
Until you bludgeon his head in with a rock, yeah.
No, and my fictional TV character, I'm going to take fucking Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. And my fictional film character, I'm just going to take Ash Williams from Evil Dead.
Nice.
If I've got Rick Morty who can cause shit to happen, I've got Ash Williams to deal with it, and I've got Kevin Smith to talk about it with.
Yeah. So many, yeah.
The first ones that come to my head.
Would it be wrong to, because I'm thinking, take one celebrity, Bruce Campbell, one fictional character from film, Ash.
You've done the
And
same
one
thing
fictional
instead.
character from TV, Ash from TV. So now
three
I've got
Bruce
Bruce
Campbells.
Campbell. No, one Bruce Campbell.
Okay,
And two Ash Williams. But two different.
One from Army of Darkness or Evil Dead, and one from Ash.
Well, because the same thing I'm thinking with Kurt Russell as well. I take Kurt Russell, and then one fictional character from film, Jack Burton or Snake
Jack
Plissken.
Burton would be a lot more fun. Snake would be too serious all the time.
A fictional character from TV. He was good as Elvis.
But
Yeah. So
I'll take Batman as a fictional character. Because your big problem with Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Oh, he just gets you off the island.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, no, I
clicks his
thought about that when I was thinking. I was like,
You'll get to a point, and it's like, oh,
I've got Rick Sanchez. He's got a teleporter.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you haven't got any of that stuff.
But you'd get
You'd
to the shore, and then it would fade down, and then all of a sudden you'd be back in the sea.
I'll take Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks. He did Castaway. It's like, you know what to do.
Tom Cruise just run away really fast.
He's just running around the island non-stop. At least
What are you running from?
At least he could stop and talk to me, but he just won't stop fucking running.
If I stop running, the aliens will abduct me.
And then he'd probably try and indoctrinate you in fucking Scientology. Wouldn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a Mormon being stuck with you.
Next question's from Rylan666.
Hey, Rylan.
Is there any chance you guys could make audio files of these? If it's too much of a pain in the ass, then that's cool. Would just be nice to listen to them at work, etc. Well, yeah.
There, you can answer that one for me as well. I'd love to listen to them work.
Yeah, a few people keep saying, why aren't you on iTunes? Why aren't you on SoundCloud? And
Podbean. Andy's on Podbean with the...
It's because...
He's doing it.
podcast.
I looked into them, and it was a financial thing. It was like, if you want to have a large enough upload limit, you're going to need to keep paying for storage space in a way, which is why that's why almost everyone's on YouTube, is because you don't have to pay anything to upload as much as you want. The only thing is that YouTube doesn't allow you to upload audio files. Now, for the first sort of, it's my fault as well. I kind of stopped doing it because most people stopped asking for it, but we were using like archive.com, it's basically the internet's archive for newspapers and audios and things like that. It's a free unlimited amount of upload space, and I was uploading the podcast there for a little while, and I kind of just stopped doing it, and nobody messaged anything, because I listen to my podcast also on YouTube, and so it's my bad for going, well, if I listen to my podcast on YouTube, everyone else can listen to the podcast on YouTube. I know it's a thing. We keep looking into it. It's something that's on the back burner.
There are no free websites to upload any of the audio files to, is there?
Not really.
No, and that's the thing. Financially...
iTunes, but you need to have a website to host the files on first, which then requires having...
If there are any listeners that are in the know and have a good way of doing this, which is not a financial burden, then... Yeah, drop us a line.
That's the key thing at the moment. If we can upload the files for free, then that's what we would do, so people could easily download them. If we had to pay out for them, then we would have to obviously get a little bit more revenue in to be able to subsidise for those pages
for our expansion,
expansion, and then obviously have the foot traffic and flow come into the podcast so that we can keep doing them. I mean, we've always said we'd love to do the podcast. Like,
if you guys like listening to us, I want to make it available for you to listen to us, which is convenient for you and everybody else.
Yes, that's it. For
the
audience.
You should also tell your listeners that if anyone can make a badass theme tune intro.
Yeah, if anyone's good on a keyboard, good on creating some music, we would love our own intro.
Dun, 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 dun. What is there a story behind that?
Yeah, it was free, man. It was free, and we were like, "That's cool," because there's like fucking 6 more pages, and this is like the 4th one down, and we got good.
No, we listened to quite a lot of stuff, and it was like, it could be that one, it could be that. We didn't ever really find one that went, "That's us."
Yeah,
But
so
if you're listening and you're a whiz with a guitar and recording stuff, then you're not going to get paid, right?
Yeah, you'll become a
I'm sure they'll give you a little credit at the bottom of the video.
absolutely,
show for
absolutely.
it. You get credit for it. Yeah.
We're a community.
Yes. Next question is from Matthias.
Hey, Matthias.
Favorite Steve McQueen movie? Mine is Sand, Pebbles and Love, Papillon, and The Great Escape.
Oh man,
Great choices, Matthias.
the Police Academy movies, they're fucking awesome.
What?
The Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah.
Sorry. It was like a joke there, man.
What? I was totally
dumb
confused.
joke.
Man, I drop a bomb of
I mean,
a
Adam
joke.
Sandler wouldn't even use that in a film.
Adam
Jesus
Sandler couldn't
Christ.
pull my shit, man. That was a bomb ass joke. Yeah, Steve McQueen. I mean, Papillon
I'm
is
dead inside
amazing.
Just edit it out.
Great Escape. Great Escape is also fucking brilliant.
That would probably be mine.
My favourite is Papillon,
Yeah.
1973. But I also love The Blob, 1958,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and The
that.
Towering Inferno, 1974.
Yeah,
Those are my absolute favourites.
I mean, Bullet is good as well, but I mean, it's
Great
only
car
really
chase.
iconic for the car chases. Tower Inferno is just an amazing performance.
Yeah, it was the first sort of disaster movie along with Earthquake that I remember seeing. And it's just
Airport, sorry.
Airport, yeah.
Yeah.
So the next question is from Mike Collins.
Hey, Mike.
Enjoyed the Red Dwarf banter last time, chaps. Reminded me how good the show was. I've heard you guys talk about Kevin Smith from time to time. I'm a big fan myself and was able to put a huge tick on my bucket list by meeting him and air-fucking Jason Mewes.
Nice.
So with all that said, I wonder what's your favourite Smith films?
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
What? That's not Kevin Smith!
Oh no, that's the other Kevin, right? Right.
James.
Kevin James, yeah.
Oh, man, he
Adam Sandler's best friend.
He
in
fucking
every
makes
movie.
the joke. Everyone fucking laughs. I make a fucking Steve Guttenberg joke. Yeah.
Well, Kevin Smith makes that joke, so.
Oh,
See,
okay. All right.
Michael no.
He will. So yeah, I mean, again, Andy was the one who exposed me to Kevin Smith with Clerks and Chasing Amy, and I kind of saw them, from a kind of hard to say. I was surprised at what I was seeing, and looking back on it, my favourites are Chasing Amy, Clerks, and Dogma.
Yes.
Those are my 3 favourites, and it's because I didn't really like Jay and Silent Bob. I really don't like them, and so I hate their standalone movie. I don't really like their moments when they turn up. It's in Clerks. It's totally fine. They're there.
See, I
But they tie
hearing more
his
rats.
cinematic universe together.
You haven't said Mallrats once, and Mallrats is fucking amazing.
Mallrats was fine. It was.
What do you mean?
I watched it, and when it was over, I was just like, "What was that?"
It's Kevin Smith movie.
It was
that's
kind
the
of
thing.
pointless, but I know I've grown to love the pointlessness nature of the fact that Kevin Smith just wants to have dialogue.
I saw
It's
Dogma.
also in the order you watch them. Like, I think the first film I watched was Dogma.
Yeah. In the cinema?
No.
Oh,
I
wow.
got the Film 4 DVD when it first came out.
Okay.
And then I think I watched Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And I watched Chasing Amy, and I thought, meh.
I was working in the cinema when Jay and Silent Bob came out.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That was how I
I got a pirate copy of Battle Royale on VHS. My film teacher, no, a friend gave to me, and Jay and Silent Bob were on the end of it.
Okay.
Because that wasn't out at the time either, so that was good. But yeah, I watched Chasing Amy and I was like, meh, because it wasn't silly and stupid, but then it became my favourite Kevin Smith film.
Really?
It's
Beautiful.
It is an awesome film.
It's
It's the dialogue is sheer perfection.
See, I kind of feel the same thing for Jersey Girl.
Yeah, we got
Girl.
Jersey Girl again. I think it came out late over here,
Yeah.
but it got pirated really fast. So me and my friends, like about 7 or 8 of us, came round. It's like, we got Jersey Girl, put it in, got the drinks in, got drunk, started watching it. Like, they have that opening animation with Jane Silent Bob, like, fucking in, boys.
Nope.
And then we're like, what the fuck is this?
Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
Jason Biggs. I was like, oh, what the fuck? But then, I got married, had a kid, and now the film's special.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his films do work in different stages of your life. I think they're all kind of universal in that way.
It's kind of weird you say that because I saw Dogma in the cinema. That dropped. I saw it in the cinema after watching a bunch of other films the same day, and Dogma just blew my fucking mind.
Alanis Morissette is God.
My local video shop, corner shop that did videos, were getting rid of them, making way for DVDs. So I managed to pick up Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy.
Nice.
And watch them all in order because on the back it had all the dates.
Yeah.
When they were released, and so I was like, watch them in order, and watch Clerks. Absolutely blew me away. Being a fan of film, and here's this black and white. Fucking indie based
film,
first 10 film, just like Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And it was
the characters, the charm of them, the
so
dialogue,
relatable.
the wit.
The fact that I was coming to that age of having to get a job, and here's a guy who doesn't even want to be at work, and all the shit he has to
on
deal
his day
with.
off.
And it was awesome. Mallrats, absolutely loved. I wanted to be a Mallrat. I want, always wanted
Impossible here.
Impossible here. Always wanted to hang around a mall and fucking just fuck around and mess around in the stores, and especially the massive introduction of Jane Silent Bob. I know they were in Clerks, but it was bigger in Mallrats. They were like kind of the heroes.
They were going to replace Jay in Mallrats with
several times
Seth
they
Green.
wanted to replace him. The studios just kept telling Kevin Smith, no, you cannot have this drug addict in this film.
And he's just like,
whilst he's still using.
then I'm not doing the film.
Yeah.
But when I got to watch Chasing Amy, I fell in love with it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful to realise that I'd gone from this religious movie to this indie movie to this kind of American teen movie to now this love story. And now I'm actually waiting. I cannot wait for more Kevin Smith stuff.
Yeah. But then he did stuff like Red State and Tusk and Jersey Girl, and the audiences just went, we're done, Kevin.
Well, that was it. First time I watched Red State, absolutely fucking hated it.
Me too.
Second time I watched
I
it,
really liked it.
Absolutely loved it.
absolutely loved it.
But I'd been listening to his podcast for probably a year and a half leading up to his release, so I knew all the background to the film, all the behind the scenes, so it just elevated the film to something.
Didn't he also do Cop Out?
Yes.
Yeah.
That film's brilliant.
Oh, dear.
When fucking Sean William Scott runs
There
down
are
that
some-
wall and falls and breaks his
Yeah.
neck, you fucking die.
There are some good parts in it, but yeah.
Bruce Willis, man.
Oh, did you ever watch a program on Channel 4, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning? It was called
Eurocrash.
Vids.
Vids.
Yeah, I
Like
don't remember.
VIDZ. It was these
yes.
two guys in a video
Yes,
shoot.
yeah,
Yes,
totally.
It was
yeah,
Seb
yeah.
and some, but
Yeah.
yeah, I always found them hilarious. But yeah, they had a review of Dogma.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing they just did a bit with the angel wings and stuff and that.
Yeah.
And that's what
We'll go
got me.
here
And I was like,
first.
oh, I want to see that. That's
wanna
weird.
see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely have a love for Kevin Smith.
And especially
without a
tell him Steve Dave. Shout out to the ants.
doubt. Next question is from David Morris.
Hey, David.
Hi guys, brilliant podcast as always. Wondering what your top 3 TV comedies are. Keep up the fantastic work.
Friends. Friends season 2. Friends season 3.
Well, that's your top 3. It's the first.
No.
Is it talking all time or
Now,
what's
I-
around now?
I literally, in preparation for it, I've done a list of what my top 3 comedies are now and what they were growing up because
Nice.
they have obviously changed.
Okay.
So my past favourite comedies growing up for me was Red Dwarf, Monty Python's Flying Circus, and Bottom. From my childhood, though, I chose those because I could, at any point in time, rewatch them.
Yes.
Other comedy shows that I put up there, I was like, I've only ever watched it once, and I'll never watch it again, and don't want to watch it again. These three, I could watch them any time of day, over and over again.
Yeah.
It still remains funny for me. At this point in time, I don't watch that many comedies.
Adam Sandler movies.
Because I've been burned so many times, and I usually find comedy in films where you wouldn't expect it. And that's what makes me funny. When I'm watching a comedy and they're going, "We're going to make you laugh," I'm just like, no, try me. But at the moment, it's like, I'm going to say The Good Place. It doesn't make me laugh out loud that much, but I still enjoy the comedy all the same. South Park, it's been going for 20 odd years now.
Cancel South Park.
Final Space,
Yeah.
It was so great. I watched it twice, loved it. Rick and Morty, so great. I watched it all through twice, 3 seasons worth. So that I realize a lot of those are animation at the moment for comedy. But I don't like American sitcoms. I don't like modern British sitcoms.
See, I was thinking that when you were saying that, I was watching a lot of Modern Family,
right,
and The Middle. Mm-hmm. A lot of American family-based sitcoms.
See, I liked Frasier.
See, and that's it. It took me back to Frasier. It took me back to, say, Roseanne.
But I wouldn't ever sit and watch the whole lot again. No. I just couldn't do it.
Frasier is still on terrestrial TV now.
Well, that's coming back, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting a relaunch.
I do find myself just kind of watching it for the different type of comedy. When David says the top three TV comedies, immediately we're like, what, of all time or current? And it's because your comedy changes.
Always, yeah. Well, it should do.
I mean, like you said, Red Dwarf, it's amazing. Bottom. I actually, saying this for the podcast, I watched Bottom recently. I just needed something.
An episode or live?
Just one episode, and I went and watched the one where they camped out.
Nice, yeah.
And I was actually getting quite emotional because I'm looking at Rick Mail, and I'm just like, man, to have to go back now and just watch this. Look at this performance; it's absolutely amazing. Top 3 TV now, South Park. South Park has always been fucking.
So I don't laugh out loud that much at South Park either, but I still enjoy watching it.
But it's usually a case of, they're going there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah, they're going there. I did not see how they were. Yeah, they could even tread that water. Final Space. Yeah, that was
fucking high regard at the moment.
Ash vs Evil Dead. That was a great comedy.
That was good.
Yes, yeah. I'd easily watch that again. I will end up watching those 3 seasons again.
Really
again
enjoyable.
And again.
I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
Recently saved by the fans after it sort of got cancelled, and then there was a big hoo-ha for like 2 days on the internet, and then it's like, it's back! That's great. I love Andy Samberg. I just think he has great timing. I really like the Goldbergs, which is Happy Madison production.
Well, I wonder why.
Which I think it's got quite a lot of seasons, which it's all about the narrator looking back. It's a real person.
Yeah.
He's looking back at his life in the 80s. It's always like in 80 something. They're never good on the dates, but this week's episode had Robert Englund as Freddy in it.
Oh no, I saw that it's the first time obviously he's been back in the Freddy suit. Yeah. Even though it's not for a film, it's just for...
But yeah, it's just like he was a big nerd, so every episode's like an homage to whether it's Ghostbusters, like Star Wars, or like horror films. It's just really enjoyable. I think and South Park.
Yeah.
But as for Bottom, I used to watch that when I was like 9 or 10 in our little portable TV in our room, and I felt so naughty watching it.
Yes.
Away from my parents, I was like, I shouldn't be watching this. This is so naughty.
He's talking about willies and stuff. Oh.
And then they had the funny blood effect when he like ended up chopping a finger
something off. Yeah.
Chopping legs off and shit.
But yeah, Red Dwarf. And you make a joke about Friends, but I could always have a Friends episode on in the background.
Never. I couldn't ever do it again. I couldn't ever listen.
Man, and like with Scrubs as well. I could just...
We've got Comedy Central. And Comedy Central, I swear, has never stopped showing Friends in the last 10 years.
It won't.
Like every day you're going out and it's a different episode from a different series. I literally, one day, I finished watching the last episode. Mm-hmm. I sat there, I watched them all put the key down. I got emotional. I was like, man, it's the last episode. And it ended. I got up. I went and made a cup of tea. I came back in the front room. The next episode was the very first episode.
Yeah.
It's like 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, I'm going to watch the first episode again.
I guess it's like you grew up with them, so you can always just sort of slot in. But have you ever seen Friends Without a Laughter Track on YouTube?
I haven't, no.
It is so creepy, like...
Because they pause talking between the laugh tracks?
Yeah, and like, there's a bit where David Schwimmer, Ross, is talking about like he's practicing this thing called unagi, is it?
Yes.
Where jumping out and like always being ready for a surprise. And there's a bit where he's talking to the trainer about he wants to sneak up on his ex-wife.
Yeah.
And like take her down and stuff. And you take out the laughter track and his like intense eyes, and it just changes the entire atmosphere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
Done with Friends, for sure. Friends is one of the reasons why I ended up being done with sitcoms in general. It's just laughter tracks.
Bad times for Friends
mostly don't work.
What is there anything with laughter track these days? Oh, it's like Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
I can't fucking stand.
I can't stand it either. I watched one episode and was like, it's not for me.
I got 5 or 6 seasons into it, and I did really love it, but at the same time, I started to really fucking hate them because they just had everything. Mm-hmm. There was like a geek heaven in there, and everything was just happening right for them. And I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. I just want to fucking punch Sheldon.
I just found it was like, I'm gonna reference something nerdy.
Yeah,
there's no point
constant.
Into it. Yeah, it's just like, hey, Batman. And then the laughter track comes in. It's like, it's not funny.
No, it's like it's because we know what he said.
It's filmed in front of an audience,
and like they're like Saved by the Bell's version of what a nerd is, and it's just insulting.
I found that as well.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. No. Nope. Yeah. Okay, next question's from Craig Hall.
Hey, Craig.
Okay, Greg.
Hi guys, cracking bit of podcasting last month, always a joy to listen to. My question this time is, what is your favourite buddy cop movie? The 80s had a good run of them with Running Scared, Lethal Weapon, Stakeout, et al., which married fun action with great humour.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep up the great work and fist bumps all around. Also, when's Mr. Binmore making his next appearance? I don't know. Dave?
Well, I don't know when they let me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm stopping insulting Star Wars.
See but now you've done your rant. You know, you can see the themes coming in again.
Ugh.
Like, we want to hear Dave and Gary talk about martial arts movies. We want to hear them talk about French movies.
Well, I'm not sure when the next Adam Sandler film is, but I'm ready to come in and talk about it for the start of the show.
Just let me know when it is so I can make myself scarce.
Buddy cop movies. There was one in the 80s. I can never remember the fucking name again.
Split Second?
Any Which Way But Loose.
It's the...
No, they weren't cops.
It's the cop movie where one of them dies and comes back as a zombie, and him and his partner are going through the movie trying to find out who's making zombies. It's got fucking... What's the guy from... Treat Williams. That's it. It's Treat Williams from Deep Rising. He's in it. I think it's called Dead Again. That's a great buddy cop movie.
Okay, yeah, I don't even know if I've seen it. No.
Yeah, just chucking that out there.
For me, I'm going to go with Hot Fuzz. It's a great one. It's great. Lethal Weapon, you mentioned it. I love Lethal Weapon. I love the Lethal Weapon series of films. Really do. Men in Black, they're not necessarily cops, but I do love, it has the buddy cop formula.
Yeah.
The rookie and the esteemed agent, the best agent in the field.
Who would you say is more funnier in the Men in Black movies, Will Smith or...
they're both. Tommy Lee Jones. It needed the both. It needed those archetypes that typically hate each other to begin with, but learn to work with each other.
If you didn't have the energetic Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones being straight faced, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't. No.
Hands down, that part at the end of Men in Black 3 gets me every time.
Yeah.
Because it brings all 3 movies back around.
It wasn't a great movie, but that moment at the end did. Yeah,
it was better than Men in Black 2.
Yeah,
Men in Black 2 I find is a bit weak.
Rushed out the gate.
Yeah, but when he sees that point with the time travel device and comes back, at the end of that movie, I'm like, I could watch Men in Black 1 again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bad Boys. That's a badass movie. The first one, at least.
I really like the first one, but the hype went crazy for the second.
Yeah, I didn't finish the second one.
I didn't really understand.
Stopped watching it.
The second one's not very good, but the first one, I mean,
I've seen that filmed so many times.
Will Smith again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Rush Hour because I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
but
Rush Hour.
those films, I like the second one, alright, because it had Zhang Zi in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're lacking. What about Tiger on the Beat? That's a cool cop.
Tiger on the Beat is a great buddy cop movie. Fucking Shanghai Nights.
It's not cops.
Well,
I was just saying with like Any Which Way But Loose.
Well, you said
Right
no.
turn, pal.
I mean,
Point Break, is that a buddy cop movie?
I mean,
partially.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
We're more talking about just sort of duo movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next question. It's from Harry Stiglitz.
Hey, Harry.
What did you guys think of Hereditary?
I wikied it, so that's a
I
start.
thought enough to download it.
I was working in the cinema when it came out, and I saw the reactions of those coming out of it. I watched the Red Letter Media review of it, and it's my own fault is that I like comedy and like horror. You've seen enough to know your preference.
No, you haven't seen anything like Hereditary.
And I saw the reactions from certain people to it, and I was just like, I kind of steer clear from a lot of modern horror movies because of they're rehashing stuff or they're just cranking different things up so high that you're being shocked out, grossed out. It's like I don't know.
No,
there didn't look like a story there for me that I was really wanting to see.
I wikied Hereditary. I saw the trailers first and was like, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. Waited for the plot to drop on Wiki, read it. At the end of it, I was like, what the fuck did I just read? You know, it was absolutely nothing like I imagined it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it was described to me, my mind just made the visuals like 10 times worse than what they are. But at the same time, I'm thinking, if that's how I imagine how bad they're going to be,
yeah,
you know, they must scare like the most normal person who's just gone in to watch the movie. Who's the main lead in it? It's the fucking woman from
I can't remember.
Krampus.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Muriel's Wedding.
Yeah.
You're terrible, Muriel.
I can't remember what she's supposed to be remarkable in it, and I've always been surprised by her.
Yeah.
You know, she does some really great performances. The little girl in it, I think, is going to be terrifying to watch on screen, and with all the visuals that I've already read, it'll be as crazy as Mandy.
So I will come back with an actual. I will go and watch the film between this podcast and the next one.
What is a standout horror film, like a brand new something that's come out in the last few years that had an impact on you?
The Witch.
Yeah,
really, that one was.
I watched your review.
Yeah, really, yeah, that one was unsettling and creepy and atmospheric, and also, the Haunting of Hill House. You know, said that had some genuinely creepy moments in it.
I really liked It Follows. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen It Follows, but I love the spirits. But I like the concept of it. I think it's one of those. It's an interesting concept. But I'm like, do I want to watch it though?
Drag Me to Hell was pretty damn good.
Drag Me to Hell. That was Sam Raimi, of course. But not that modern. It was over 10 years ago now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so let's go to the next question. John Smith.
Hey, John.
Well, not really a question, but in light of your recent Critters reviews, thought you guys should know that Syfy, the Sci-Fi Channel, are trying or now have gotten the rights to make more Critters movies and a follow-up to Killer Clowns from Outer Space movies or TV series. Now, Jake Adams, also right behind him. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Says, thoughts on Sci-Fi nabbing the rights to make another Critters film and Killer Clowns from Outer Space film. As always, you're doing the Lord's work, fellas. So yeah, both John and Jake.
Yes, definitely. Fucking make them.
I think
more.
You know, the Tremors had a failed TV series, but then came back with more sequels.
Yeah.
I think Critters could be a pretty interesting and fun TV series.
I don't know about TV series because the thing is
more straight to DVD or TV movies.
Yeah, just keep. I mean, how many Sharknado movies are there?
Like 8, I don't know.
And how many Critters movies could you make with that same amount of budget and the same crazy CGI effects of Critters flying up? Loads. You know, making a TV series out of it.
If it's got puppet effects, I'm gonna watch it. If they CGI the Krites, and they look good, I'm going to watch it.
Are you telling me there's going to be like an albino krite who doesn't eat humans that they keep as a kind of sidekick pet that runs around stopping other critters from, I don't know, trying to take over the world?
All I know is that they're going to have to retcon the movies because by the end of Critters, all the eggs were destroyed. There are no krites left in the known universe, according to the Federation in that world.
It would be a restart.
It's going to be a restart.
Yeah, it'd have to be a film because sci-fi are awful with their TV shows. They just can them. Like, I really enjoyed a series called Alphas.
Right.
It ran for 2 series. It ended on this huge, awesome cliffhanger, and it's just like, no more.
Yeah.
And they just don't seem to take a big enough chance on their things.
Did you ever see Future Man on Sci-Fi?
Yes, yeah, I did.
I heard of it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched. I didn't watch all of it though. I watched about 6 episodes and stopped.
Yeah, I caught one episode, and he's talking to the girl and the guy who have travelled back from the future.
time because he's the one to lead them in the future.
Yeah, but she starts having sex with the future guy because that's how they recharge.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Sci-fi, what have you constructed here?
Wasn't it? Was it really violent?
It was in places as well. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
great.
I think that's why I think it's.
It was
Drive was a lot
sexually,
violent,
over the top and violent and language and all those things.
Was it
but
Seth Rogen?
I think he was.
Someone big was attached to
behind
it. Which I think
yeah.
that's why I heard.
That's how I got linked to seeing it. Yeah, but it was one of those. I was like, I'll come back and watch it later, and then just never did.
Yeah.
So if it'd been cancelled, it's like, yeah.
Critters and Killer Clowns, make more. Definitely make more. Make a crossover movie. That'd be great.
The Killer Clowns and the Critters.
Yeah, let's have a little universe.
Yeah,
they
attack the same town. And
I mean, they're not, I don't think you could take them that seriously. So why not?
No,
just go for it.
Well, people are laughing at Halloween fucking movies.
Next question is from Tom W.J. Sexton.
Hey, Tom.
What is the best film you have seen based on true events? Also, bonus question: who is your top modern action star?
Based on true events.
Pain and Gain.
Yeah, that's great. I like that one.
I'm not a huge fan of Michael Bay, and the trailer for that film was just like men flexing their muscles. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. You're watching the film, and I love the fact that it keeps popping up saying, yes, what you are watching is still based on real events.
Yeah,
It's like, it has to keep reminding you. This actually happened, by the way, and then the film carries on again.
Yeah. It's got The Rock in it. He's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the one where they're selling the illegal...
I can't remember if it's steroids, drugs, or some kind.
Yeah, it's like really got a really dark tone to it.
It's the one where The Rock, got absolutely massive. All those pictures came out of him just looking ballooned up.
Yeah, and the story in it takes too many stories, he can't get an erection or something.
Yeah,
he goes mad.
Shit. JFK was pretty badass with Kevin Costner.
That was cool. Apollo 13.
Yeah,
that was great.
Alive.
Oh,
300.
The Cobbler.
What was the
what?
The film based on the financial crash?
Wolf of Wall Street.
No.
Wall Street.
Had Christian Bale in it.
Batman.
American Psycho.
Big
money.
No, it was about. It was a really serious film, but it was from the maker of Anchorman.
Oh dear.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but it was about people like The Big Short. The Big Short.
Okay,
it is fantastic, and it even has like breakaway scenes where it's Margot Robbie in a bathtub, and he goes, "Hi, I'm Margot Robbie," and she basically explains the technicalities of this situation. He goes, "Hi, this is Margot Robbie in a bath to explain this to you to make it really simple, and like to keep your attention," and she just like gives an explanation to dummies
while she's in the bath.
While she's in the bathtub.
Oh man, that's amazing! I need to see.
But the film is so smart. Like Steve Carell's in it as a serious role, and it's kind of scary what actually happened in the real world.
In the real world, to actually see it played out, dramatised.
I've always been interested in seeing Moneyball with Brad Pitt.
It's a fine film.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I really like Jonah Hill, so I wanted to see his award-winning.
Performance.
A Beautiful Mind for me, that made me go, holy shit, Russell Crowe can act.
Yes.
A film really blew me away. The Pianist, that's a outstanding film.
Yes.
Horrible events. Das Boat.
Das
You know,
Boat.
I absolutely love Das Boat.
Titanic.
It's great. I love James Cameron.
I mean, Night to Remember
like
is
to
better.
watch. I do like to watch the last half of that film. It is pretty
Spartacus.
good. Modern action film, Gary.
What
would you call
modern action film? You know, I'm going to say modern has got to be an actor who's broken into the action genre in the last 10 years.
Adam Sandler, Pixels.
Yeah, nice.
You see him driving those
he's
cars?
not modern. He's 20 years in the film industry or more. So, you know, my first thing that came to mind was probably like The Rock. But he's been doing it since for a lot longer
Jason
than since the early
Statham.
2000s. Too long, like early 2000s.
But he is the guy on the top right now.
He is.
If it's a big action film, it's The Rock.
It's The Rock, yeah. But I was also thinking of my favourite of the modern genre of action movies. I'm going to say Chris Evans.
Chris Hemsworth.
Captain America.
I was just thinking all of the Marvel heroes.
Yeah,
Tom
exactly.
Holland, fucking Robert
I like
Downey
Chris
Jr.
Evans ever since Sunshine.
Downey Jr. as
I
well.
love his Captain America, and obviously Winter Soldier was just a phenomenal
Winter
action
Soldier
spy
was great.
movie, which I really liked. And so I would see him in other action movies easily.
Yeah, Chris Evans is pretty hard to fucking top. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is fucking Deadpool.
But I mean, he's more recently into action because he did a lot of the rom-com stuff and then the terrible Amityville remake.
I mean, Jackie Chan's like one of the greatest action stars ever.
Yeah, but he's not modern.
If anything, he's bad in the modern day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've always wanted
Like
to...
Donnie Yen's he was in the 80s and
wanna
90s, but he's getting big now. He's kind of breaking America.
What's that Jackie
And
Chan
with
movie
Ip Man.
where his daughter's killed by the IRA? That looks really good.
Oh, The Foreigner. That was actually a really good film.
Yeah,
that's
that's-
probably the best Jackie Chan film of the last...
That's what I really want to see.
15
I'm
years.
interested to see how he does it against John Cena.
Yeah.
I saw him against Johnny Knoxville, and that wasn't very good.
So, next question is from Rene Rodriguez.
Hey, Rene.
Hola muchachos. My question for this week's podcast is, would you like to see John Carpenter direct one last movie that's an original film and not a sequel or a remake? My answer is yes. Thanks, guys. And my answer, Rene, is also yes. You know, I only want to see one more film.
But it's got to be a good film. You don't want the last one to be a wet fart.
I still want him to do Dead Space. I'd love to see John Carpenter do Dead Space. I know it's not original anymore.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been turned into a live action film, and I think he could do it. So long as it doesn't turn out more like, you know, Ghosts of Mars, but turns out more like The Thing, you know, on a space station like Alien.
John Carpenter would have to make an 80s style movie. He wouldn't be able to do well in the modern era. I always found that was the problem with his later movies.
Yeah.
You know, things that were set around the 80s and talked about the future worked really, really well. When he went to do, like, John Carpenter's Vampires and John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars, not great movies.
I still like vampires.
Yeah,
I enjoy
vampires.
It's a guilty pleasure for sure.
You like
like
Vampires
vampires.
because it's a John Carpenter movie, but
Yeah,
the story's not great.
James Woods is great in it. You know, he just said...
And Bill Paxton.
Okay, so
Like,
now you're making me sound like a fucking asshole.
wait, no,
okay,
I'm
for
thinking
John
of-
Carpenter.
You're ripping on John
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Near Dark. I'm
No,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
what am I talking about?
What I'm saying is that, like, I watched The Ward.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
The Ward is all right. You know, it's kind of, it's very predictable, but it's a John Carpenter movie. I'm watching for that. So for me, he could make an original movie, he could make a sequel, he could make a remake. As long as it says directed by John Carpenter,
You're going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it, you know. Adam Sandler in a John Carpenter presents Adam Sandler, you know. Yeah, and he dies halfway through. You'd watch that, guy.
Yeah, I would actually. So the next question is from David Allen Evans.
Hey, David.
So, gents, having rewatched Battlestar all the way through once again, I mentioned Battlestar Galactica, I remember, the two prequel shows, Caprica and Blood and Chrome. If you could bring back just one of them, which would it be? Caprica for its attempt at serious science fiction and cultural commentary, or Blood and Chrome's for shooty bang bangs and nudity?
Caprica was shit.
Was it cancelled in 2 seasons? Wasn't it?
It didn't
was
even
it
make second season.
I don't think it did. Yeah, it was 1 season and gone.
One season.
Blood and Chrome was 1 episode.
It
one
was
movie thing and gone.
Caprica was the scientist making the Cylon's
like
daughter
50 years before the events of Battlestar Galactica's first Cylon War.
Died, and she became a ghost in the show and took over the robot, and it was like, what?
And so 100 years later, she would be... Well, I can't remember how long the timeline was.
It completely counters everything we've just watched in Battlestar Galactica.
You saw the beginning of the religious sect that would believe in the one true God appearing on Caprica.
That was a very loose thread.
It was, yeah. Obviously, it was to be tied into later seasons if they got to it.
Cutting the Cylon form and you seeing her walking around.
It was interesting because us, human race where we are now are starting to get to some sophisticated and complicated
We're
AI.
always getting sophisticated.
But, it's scary how close and how... that there feels, Caprica the show felt like it's about maybe 10, 15 years away from where we are in terms of that AI. Not in terms of having monorails and super tech everywhere else.
But for me, it did not connect to the Battlestar Galactica.
It didn't, no. Blood and Chrome went for the first war. Galactica's first mission, sort of thing.
But
young Adama.
They suffered the same fate as the Star Wars and Star Trek does. They tried to keep it with the young Adama. Which meant that every time I watched Adama go out in his Viper, he's not going to die. Yeah, he is not going to die because he's Adama.
The pilot who lives in.
You're trying to link it. You're trying to link it to that. I'd remake Blood and Chrome.
I would bring back Blood and Chrome as well,
but
I want a big spaceship naval war story.
Yeah, I'd have him part of a unit like Space Above and Beyond.
Yeah.
And over so many seasons, you kill off X amount. Yeah, okay.
Make you care for the pilots like Battlestar Galactica does, and then put them against multiple battle stars versus multiple base stars.
Yeah, maybe have Adama arguing with the commander. Because the commander's making
all the
choices
different planets have different views, and so there's the racism between all the colonists anyway.
He could be like a new TV Han Solo.
So there's plenty of avenues for stories there. It's just a shame that
you don't like Battlestar, do you, Dave?
Don't like sci-fi.
No.
Don't like sci-fi. I totally forgot. Sorry,
but it was fascinating to listen to.
Sam Chineri.
Hey Sam.
What's your favourite Final Fantasy game ever? P.S. No spoilers, please, on Final Fantasy 15 if not finished it yet. Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
First one I ever played. First one that introduced me to JRPGs. That's it. That's all you need.
See, I thought I liked Final Fantasy, but then I realised a few years ago that I don't like Final Fantasy because I love 7. 7's one of my favourite games of all time.
Yeah.
I'd never finished 8.
Nope.
Never finished 9.
Nope.
Maybe played about 4 hours of 10 straight line. Never played 11. 12, I got annoyed with having to buy the right to use items or anything, and that system didn't make sense. 13 I completed, and
the most linear Final Fantasy of all.
And 15's not bad actually. It's definitely a different pace, and it
doesn't
different...
almost feel like Final Fantasy anymore though.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 7 I think works for me because although it is a fantasy, it's kind of real world.
Yeah, relatable. Yeah.
Like you start in the slums and it's kind of futuristic in Midgar, but then
giant corporate industries ruling over everyone.
Yeah, but then you go to like the port and it's just like a big naval port. It's relatable. It's not too over the top.
Yeah.
The music in it is amazing.
The music, the characters. I mean,
amazing.
The fact you start the game off as terrorists.
Yes.
Like, it's so bizarre. Like, you go and you're basically bombing. And you kill people.
Well, you're the rebels.
Yeah, and it's just like, in a kind of a relatable modern world, it's kind of like, well, that is a very strange twist on a hero.
See, now the funny thing is, I hated all RPGs up to a certain point. When Final Fantasy VII dropped on the PlayStation 1, everybody was raving about it, and I was like, fuck you, how can you enjoy a game where these guys are running around and they've got little balls for hands?
Yeah, or just squares. Yeah, it was just a box.
Not when they went into battle.
Not when it, well, that was the
yeah.
thing. I remember a friend of mine saying, no, sit down and play this, and I went into the battle, and I'd been playing so much Doom and so much Duke Nukem and Quake. It pissed me off that I had to fucking sit there and wait.
Like, why are they waiting to attack each other?
Yeah, why doesn't he just run up and fucking chop his head off with that giant fucking sword? And so I just avoided all of Final Fantasy VII's hype. Final Fantasy VIII dropped. Loved the gunblades. Loved how the graphics had changed to actually make them look more human.
Alive. You love the
Yeah,
whole system, didn't you?
yeah.
And I went into playing Final Fantasy VIII and then realised that I hated that because the camera didn't move. You know, releasing Resident Evil, it showed you where you were supposed to go, and I got stuck on one part because I couldn't find a ladder. So I was just like, fuck RPGs. Fuck it. Stopped. Years and years later, I was looking after Dylan when he was about 2 years old. I was at home, and Andy had lent me the Nintendo DS version of Chrono Trigger. And that was my first proper RPG that I played. Like Japanese SNES RPG. Absolutely fell in love with it. Went and completed Fantasy Star 4 after that on the Mega Drive. That was fucking amazing to play as well. And I was like, I need to go and do Final Fantasy 7 now.
Yeah. I remember
PSP,
talking to you throughout your whole journey
Played it
through
through
that game.
PSP. I completed that game 3 times on the PSP. The first time I played it all the way through, collected everything, used a walkthrough. Once I'd completed it, after defeating Emerald Weapon,
Yeah.
once I completed it,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I've completed it. And I deleted it off my memory card. It was like a rite of passage. I've deleted it, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then about 6 months later, I was like, I need to play Final Fantasy 7 again. So I played it for a second time, missed half the stuff, could not defeat Emerald Weapon, so I had to start it all over again. Find all the good shit. And then went up against Emerald Weapon. When you get that lucky 7 pop up, and you just watch Cloud just fucking keep whacking until the fucking thing is dead, you're like, yes! Yes! Haven't done any other Final Fantasies after that.
Yeah. I completed. I ended up, after playing 7, I ended up going back and playing 3 of the previous ones.
Yeah.
Not to completion, but played them just to
6
experience
is amazing.
them. So,
6 is amazing.
Because they added extra cutscenes and extra, glossed it up and whatnot.
Yeah.
Played 8 multiple times. I completed Final Fantasy 7 about 6 times. Completed Final Fantasy 8 maybe 3 times. Completed Final Fantasy 9 once.
Yeah.
Completed Final Fantasy 10 maybe 3 times. Then it was Final Fantasy 13, which I completed once. And when it was over, I was done with Final Fantasy. Never to play Final Fantasy games ever again.
I played 13 too. I got to the final boss.
Which one was the one with the
finished
dresses?
That's
10 to.
Where you had to change
pop
into the
singers?
dresses to be able to fight.
Didn't do that. Didn't
do
do any
Yeah,
of
I
that.
could not bring myself to that.
Final Fantasy 15 was a mostly forgettable experience at the end of it. I just, done. Yeah, the three or 4 dudes that you travel with in the car, it was fine for a little while, but the game offered you nothing to come back to. Nothing like a good story with. I mean, that game didn't. I can't even remember Final Fantasy 15's music because they gave you the option to listen to all the music from the previous good games.
Or you're in the car driving, just endlessly.
Yeah.
See, I loved Final Fantasy 7, but that pushed me onto other
RPGs and JRPGs.
Like Suikoden or Suikoden. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but I love those games. Like, they're probably my most favourite, but I like the Ys games, which is YS.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is great. I played about 7 of them this year. Because, it's a main guy called Adol, and every game you play as him, you're going to a new land for a new story, and it's cool to have an RPG series that is all around this one character and his journey.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's very different.
I've
from
not
what
heard
I've
of it.
seen.
Not come across it.
The funny thing is, my favourite actual Final Fantasy game, I just remembered, is one that you actually gave me, Dave. You gave me Final Fantasy War of the Lion on the PSP.
Did I?
Yeah. I remember because you gave it to me and you said, let Tamar start this and she can't get into it. And I was like, oh, I'll take it home and I'll try it. And it's an amazing game once you get into it because you look down from like a top-down angle of the battlefield and you have to move your people around.
That's the tactics.
Yeah, it's a Final Fantasy Tactics.
Man, I was really stupid. I would have loved to have that game.
Yeah, that game was amazing because I got through the first chapter, the first prologue. Sorry, it took so long to get through. It was like an epic little movie itself, and I remember going through the whole adventure at the beginning to rescue this girl. I get the girl, but the guy that's been helping me betrays me and stabbed the girl, and it's all in this tiny little miniature fucking SNES kind of. Sprite kind of friendly graphics, but he pulls out the knife and stabs her and blood comes out, and I'm like, that fucker has to die. And then it was my duty just to make my way all the way through the game to take him out. When I got to him, he whooped my ass, so I had to go off and grind, and I grinded so hard in that game I leveled up all 10 special abilities that you can, or classes that you can choose from, and went back there with my top guys and whooped his ass in like seconds.
That's
War of the Lion, that's a really good one.
That's one good thing about JRPGs nowadays. They seem to all have lost the grind.
A little bit, I guess, because they got microtransactions. You just buy them.
Not Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles hasn't lost the grind. You still
It's
have the grind.
like Tales, the Tales games, Tales of.
They just give you enough monsters in between where you are, where you got to go in the boss.
It's
that you'll
like-
be at the
yeah.
right level you need to be to do it and keep going.
The combat's fast and it's fun and engaging, so you're not trying to run away from all the fights. You'll be like, for fuck's sake, another random battle.
Yeah, right.
Battles.
Yeah, I just wish Xbox had more. Like, Lost Odyssey was amazing.
Lost Odyssey was the last great JRPG I ever played.
What was that gun one where you had to make the triangles and have your guys...
Resonance of Fate.
Resonance of Fate was awful, but it had a cool and interesting gameplay fighting dynamic.
Apart from, like, I went through the tutorial and then it was like, alright, well, this is your first fight. And I fucked it up. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, it's not working. And I got rid of that game.
You've just got to keep, as I said, you've got to keep making triangles around them, and your characters have got to overlap where your other characters have gone.
Yeah.
I just think I was skipping through all the text. I just wanted to get on to the game. And then I realised I couldn't play the game.
I completed that.
Yeah, I watched you complete it. Yeah.
Next question is from Genevieve Thomas.
Hey, Genevieve.
Hey guys, would you rather survive a horror movie scenario, but some of your friends die, or all of your friends get to live, but you get killed? And who's your favourite horror movie monster?
I would rather... Well, some days I'd rather kill everybody else and then me be the only person. Because then it's just me and the voices.
Does anyone die? Does anyone die in Poltergeist?
No.
But then again, I wouldn't want to go through that. It already gave me nightmares from like 4 to 9.
What, the Sam
Just
Rockwell
watching
one?
it. No, I never watched that one.
No, you don't need to. You've seen the original. I guess my favourite horror movie monster is the Alien. Yeah, it's perfect organism.
Yeah.
I would say the Blob scares me just as much because of how horrific it can be.
Yeah.
And I would also say the Thing, but the Thing doesn't have its own shape.
Yeah.
Not per se. It's not as identifiable as the Alien.
Okay. Thing or Alien? Pick one.
Alien, because it is.
Okay.
It's evolved in its design throughout the films, but you know an alien when you see the alien.
Would you rather be the first one with the chest burster, or the last one after everyone's dead?
Give me the give me the chest burster. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Don't want to survive to the end.
Well, that's what the question is, isn't it?
But I don't want to be fucked in the mouth by a facehugger and then go through freaking chest bursting. I'd rather survive, but then.
But watching all of your friends get killed by the alien as it stalks you,
and then you finally eventually defeat it, not knowing that you would, and you're scarred for life afterwards.
Yeah, because all of you.
Sometimes dead is better.
Or be Newt and then just die asleep. An intro.
I'd rather survive a movie scenario if it was From Dusk Till Dawn.
Right.
I mean,
so you most of your friends die, but you live.
Yeah. But if we're talking like being stalked by a killer, I'd like to be the guy who gets killed that everyone sees and realizes the killer's there and they should run like fuck. You don't
want to be the one who sacrifices yourself so that the killer dies and your friends get away.
Yeah, but then I mean, depend on the scenario. I've always known deep down inside that as much zombie preparation as I put in, If they're the running ones, I'm fucked. I am fucked.
Rule 1, cardio.
Yeah, that's it.
Depends if they're good friends. They're annoying.
Yeah.
Let them die.
Favorite horror movie monster? Ooh, gotta be The Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
Not that really shit thing in that film you reviewed a few months ago.
What, Rawhead Rex?
Yeah, Rawhead Rex. Exactly. You see, you even knew what I was talking about. It must be your favourite.
Fucking fuck Rawhead Rex.
Dave, your favourite?
I would say Alien as well.
Alien as well, yeah.
It's so iconic. Even the dribbling down
saliva,
the
mouth,
yeah.
the inner mouth jaw, the head shape.
The way they
Its
freaking
life
center it
cycle.
in the camera, just the way it comes down, just
graceful, slick,
Where it can become
frightening.
part of the walls in the hive.
Yeah, it is. It's a great creature. Still favourite. I don't think it'll ever be beaten.
No.
Next question's from Wendy Victoria.
Hey, Wendy.
If they remade Jaws, who do you think would be good as Quint, Hooper, and Brody?
You'd have Dwayne
Adam
The Rock-
Sandler.
Adam Sandler as Brody, Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Quint, and Kevin Hart or Kevin Spade as Hooper. Not Kevin Spade, Kevin James. Kevin Hart or Kevin Spade? James. Or Kevin Spade.
Oh, Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
In this version, they all get eaten by the shark. Oh no, the shark just bites their nuts off. I don't know. Why would you? Why no?
Rob Schneider in The Shark.
Rob Schneider is the shark.
If I was serious about they had to make a Jaws film, I would give. I mentioned him earlier. I'd give Chris Evans the role of Brody.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I would give him Jennifer Lawrence as his wife, Ellen Brody.
Okay, throw that in there.
Yeah, I just going to think, you've got to have the characters.
Political there, PC.
I would give Quint Mickey Rourke. He's aged, he looks odd,
Yeah.
he's,
Okay.
Sam Rockwell for Hooper.
Nice.
Because he's a great actor. You can imagine his optimism about trying to get in the tank.
See, you know how we went all diverse and he just went for like an all-white cast and even threw Jennifer Lawrence in there as the wife.
What?
Like, you could even
You gotta
change it
cast
up
it
and be
out.
like, Jennifer Lawrence could be Hooper.
I mean,
Gender swap them.
Jamie Lee Curtis is Quint. Oh, harpoon gun.
you just get Adam Sandler. Put a wig on him. Put a mustache on
Tell you
another
what,
one.
you can just play all the parts.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the shark.
Even the shark.
No, Rob Schneider is the shark.
That would be like dun 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 dun.
Adam Sandler noise. Oh god. Jeez. Don't remake Jaws for the love of anything. Next question. Lewis Cheneri. Oh no, we answered that one, didn't we?
No,
No, that's a different question.
I want to talk about my crush.
Hey guys, great content as usual.
Hey, Lewis.
Your top 3 science fiction movies of all time and your favourite actress crush, past or present.
Oh, okay, that's a...
Fist bumps.
yeah, I'm going to wait for the actress crush one because, that's a touchy subject. But 3 science fiction movies. The Thing, Aliens, and Terminator.
Nice.
See, I would say RoboCop.
I was going to say
Awesome RoboCop.
Almost
Yeah.
went with RoboCop.
Aliens. Predator 2.
Nice.
Predator 2 is a good one.
Alien, The Thing, Blade Runner.
Yeah, I think Blade Runner as well.
Actress.
They rarely change those 3 films. They won't change out the top 3 spot. It's only Alien is my favourite sci-fi horror and Thing is my favourite horror. I don't consider it too much of a sci-fi horror.
What if
Anything
you
from outer
found
space.
out that the alien had a past like Kevin Spacey? Would that change your opinion?
What, the alien touched people?
Yeah, he had a few odd encounters.
Late night
The
party.
alien don't care what race you are, don't care how old you are. If you got a hole, it's gonna make an alien.
Touche.
Nice.
Actresses, like most boys, was Gillian Anderson as a kid.
Love
Not
Gillian
for me.
Anderson.
For my past crush was Virginia Madsen
Oh, Virginia
and
Madsen.
Jessica Alba.
I also liked.
Famke Janssen.
I can't
Yeah.
liked her that much because I can't remember her real name, but Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell,
Oh yes,
and
yeah.
Winnie Cooper from The Wonder Years.
Oh man, if we're going back that far, fucking hell, Beverly
They said
Crusher.
past.
Beverly Crusher. You were Star Wars: The Next Generation.
And then nowadays is
Uhura.
Maggie Chung.
Who?
Maggie Chung. She's in Hero. She's the one who fights in the forest with Zhang Zi. In the woods with Elise.
Yes.
I always loved her from early Jackie Chan days where she was just super cute, and now she's just a freaking stone cold.
I don't really have any modern crushes.
Because you're an adult.
Really, yeah.
Weird.
I guess the last female, I guess, that I crushed on when watching was during Breaking Bad. Was Christian Ritter, who's gone on to play Jessica Jones. Didn't actually.
Oh yeah.
Didn't actually think. Yeah, the drug girl who spoilers. But she looked so fine. You know, it was just like, oh, no.
She has a face where you think you've seen her in lots of things, but when you look back, it's like, oh no, she was just the girl from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
She made such an impact that
she's gone on to be Jessica Jones. I didn't actually think Jessica Jones was all that great either, but she's nice on the eye.
Good bad guy.
Very good bad guy.
Julie Benz. That's a nice one.
Julie Benz. No.
Jill from Jack and Jill.
Oh no.
Salma Hayek from
Dusk Till Dawn. Oh my god.
Yeah. So many.
And last question is from
Amir.
Amir Osman.
Hey, Amir.
It's getting late. Hi guys, I'm Amir from Malaysia and a fan of your work. Awesome.
Cheers,
my question for your next podcast is, what is the difference between your re-uploaded film reviews compared to when you first uploaded? Did you cut out certain scenes? Are they shorter than the previous upload? And which film reviews have been deleted and still have not been re-uploaded yet? I remember seeing American Psycho, Evil Dead 1 and Predators were briefly uploaded for about an hour on your channel before they were taken down again. Was not able to see those re-uploaded reviews before they were deleted. Also, your film reviews for Terminator 2 and 7 are no longer on your channel. Keep up the good work, and I'm very much looking forward to your film review of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay, now boys, deep breaths.
We ranted on the last podcast already about all of the film studios that are a problem for us.
Yeah.
I am still currently re-editing the Terminator 2 review because it was a big one for us. You guys loved the review and the discussion that we had on it. You know, we've talked, we were this year going to review Terminator 3, but it's been pushed back. It's been pushed back a little ways.
Yes.
And so in order to get to that one, I'd like to have the second one up. It's like, you know, we've lost, over this year, we have lost about 50 video reviews. It is an insane number. It is heartbreaking that all that work is unavailable to you guys to see.
Yeah. But he says it's heartbreaking. It's for me, it's like another knock on the chin because I remember we made a load of reviews and then the hard drive corrupted.
Oh,
and so there are a lot of videos that are up on YouTube, on our channel, which are the originals. You know, we cannot take them down and re-edit them or do anything with them because
you could, but the quality would be.
No, that has happened with a few of them. What was it called? The Rabbit film.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Warship Down, Christine, and Near Dark are all reviews that were lost on a corrupted hard drive that then got blocked worldwide, taken down. And what I managed to do is, because I was the file holder, I basically used screen capture software to play the video on YouTube, capture it all, then put that back in the editing software, edited it, rendered it, and then re-uploaded it. And for those three at least, that's what's happened.
Yeah.
You know, that's like recorded from YouTube, back into editing and back up again.
Do you lose quality doing that?
Yes, the quality is dropped slightly. Every time you do it, it would drop in quality, but we lost the original review. We wanted to get the content back up there. We were getting asked all the time for it. We get asked almost every other day for a re-upload of a different film review.
Yeah.
And the difference is between the original upload and the new upload is that all of the clips of the films are shorter, and that there's more content of me and Iain talking to the camera, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
So the reviews are sometimes between 5 and 50 seconds shorter, and that's because each of the clips has been cut down by a certain amount of time that the YouTube bots allow the review to stay up.
Yeah, I remember back in the day we were on 20 seconds and it was fine.
Yeah.
20 seconds of a clip, I was working well within it and just emphasizing what we're doing already now, emphasizing what we were talking about, and then it just got shorter and shorter and shorter until finally nowadays I'm on 6-second clips.
6-second clips is what gets us past the bots detection.
But it's allowed me to work better with the film review. You know, a lot of the times we kept getting comments saying these aren't film reviews. You're just talking about the film. You're talking about the film, and
discussing it. Yeah.
Well, I started to realize that because we were talking about a lot of the scenes in the film, and then I was using a lot of the clips.
Yeah.
Then YouTube comes along and says you can't use all those many clips, so now I've got to express to you, the audience, and emphasize certain scenes that I'm talking about, and then only give you 6 seconds as a taster.
Yeah.
Now it's down to you as the viewer to then decide if you're going to go off and watch the film
or know the film we're talking about already.
Yeah, on what I've said, which started to change me as a reviewer, because then people are coming back saying, on your recommendation, I went and watched that film. Mm-hmm. Or I'm never actually going to ever watch that film because of what you said. And I'm like,
yeah.
That works with me.
Yeah.
I fucking cry sometimes remembering certain videos that have just gone. Like we did Lego Movie with Dylan.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's gone.
You know, that was one of the first videos I ever
We did
Dylan
the Poltergeist trilogy. Obviously we did redo the first one again.
But that Poltergeist trilogy was class.
I thought I loved the third one until I watched your review, and then
you realised
I reevaluated my like of the third film.
Yeah. Wow. See, yeah.
But do you think it's going to be an inevitable thing that they're going to take all?
It all depends on copyright law and what happens to that law in the years to come. Because right now we're not breaking the law.
Do you think a studio is going to pay a big bucks for big lawyers to say no, you can't have any of it?
They keep trying. They're still trying.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to block memes. You know, they want internet control. They want to control the internet. And so long as people keep fighting for free speech, essentially, for allowing us to it's the social media age.
And that's the thing.
It's a technological age.
There's a massive
where media's.
There's a massive counter argument happening behind the scenes, because, for example, we review Tekken 2, Kazuya's Revenge, one of the fucking worst movies ever that nobody's ever going to buy, but it goes up on YouTube and everyone goes, I want to see it now. I want to buy it. These guys are talking about
Shined a light on a film that was buried.
Yeah, a massive, huge film company comes along and says, you can't talk about Evil Dead. Fine, we won't talk about Evil Dead, but you're losing advertising on that film, and people are going to lose interest in it, and which means you cannot remake it. This guy over here with Kazuya's Revenge is fucking loving his laptop full of money. You know?
There's another thing where, like, the film studios have to protect their intellectual properties.
Yeah.
So, like, although they probably wouldn't have an issue of what you do, but they have to penalise you to stop other people taking the piss with their IP.
The bot system was initially set up to stop people pirating and uploading the entire movie.
Yeah.
And that is what the bots are thinking. They go, we've detected this bit here, which is in the film, therefore your video is this long. I had a theory. I only tested it a little bit with the Mummy re-upload that went up recently.
Okay.
Where I was uploading the entire review and it was getting flagged again and again and again. I kept making the changes and I went, you know what, fuck it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this review in half and just upload a 20-minute video of the review. Went up, no problem. The bots didn't touch it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm not going to make any changes to that first 20 minutes. I'm going to upload the whole 40-minute video. And the video flagged me at 6 minutes, 23 seconds. And I'm like, but I uploaded the 20-minute video that included this clip in the 20-minute video and you didn't touch it.
Yeah.
And now is it because the length of our videos makes the system go, well, it must be a lot more of the movie then?
Yes.
And so this is a theory I've been trying to test. Nobody knows how the bot system or the algorithm is really working. nobody. I mean, I can only formulate my own ideas that film studios give YouTube the film, and they scan the film through this system that then looks for any moment in that film when any video ever being uploaded.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible bit of kit if they've got it, which they do.
But then we do see it sometimes when videos get flagged where it says it's manually been spotted.
Yeah.
So somebody must be sitting there watching the review.
Well, film studios like Universal hire companies like Zephyr to do just that.
Yeah.
To make them money, to protect their intellectual properties, their IPs. But they don't give a damn about legal fair use law, and so therefore they can make extra money off the backs of other YouTube creators.
Yeah.
And the creators in where we are at this moment in time have very few legs to stand on. Now, we have fought back against Zephyr quite a few times.
We have.
And we have won. But it's been drawn out, long things, which take months to resolve.
Well, that's what they want. They want you to give up.
Yes, often not they do. But because we've been hit by so many this year, I can't counterclaim all of them, because if too many of them come back wrong, they say we're still in the wrong, our channel could disappear.
But that's why
which is why we do the re-uploads.
That's why, well, not just the re-upload, that's why we do the re-edits where we're like, okay, you want us to stay within your system? We will stay within your system.
Yeah.
You tell us that we can only use 6 seconds of a clip? Fine. But that just means that the camera will be on me and Gary talking about the scene in particular, emphasising how we feel and giving an honest, truthful review for that person to then, like I said, decide, you know what, I'm going to spend the extra money to buy that film, put it in my collection. Most things nowadays are digitally downloaded anyway.
Right.
So nobody's going out and buying it, and these guys are just taking pennies from people because their intellectual properties are losing steam.
Yeah.
We get flagged by the people who own the Halloween series. Why? Because nobody's fucking buying your films.
I tell you what, a change I will make when I finally get, because obviously this will make you laugh.
Right.
Out of the entire Alien franchise,
Yeah.
only Alien is up at the moment. Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection are all down, and I'm like, for the longest time, all you could watch was the Aliens, Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection video, and the Alien video kept going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Our audience knows this.
Yeah.
But now it's the only one you can watch is Alien, because Aliens finally came down. I was just like, it's just ridiculous.
And yet you let Covenant just sit there.
Well, that was edited into the new system.
Yeah, I spent time. Give me a fucking break. I spent time on Covenant to make that film, to make that review enjoyable for everybody at home to watch.
But when I do get to re-editing Alien 3, because that review has gone up a few times before, and every time somebody calls us out and goes, it wasn't CGI, it was... And so I'm going to edit that bit out, or I'm going to actually just cut to the Alien CGI bit and have a subtext and go, I'm going to correct it, because I'm tired of reading the same message over and over.
We know it's puppets, but the scene...
But we say it's CGI.
Well, because the director's cut, there's the CGI fucking alien running away from the body.
Yeah, but I was in the director... It's the fact that we're showing footage of the alien running across the ceiling when it's badly composited.
Man, I had to use different clips. Thank you very much.
Maybe you should just resort to making really bad stick figure animations to represent what's going on in the scene you're describing.
Oh, I would
Reenact
love to be kind of reminded. That would be amazing.
But as a viewer, it's nice to every now and then go on YouTube and go, oh, an Evil Dead review. Have they not done that yet? Start watching it. No, I've seen this.
When you see the sofa,
you know it's an old one. Well, with that, I'm going to bring this podcast to a close. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Dave, for the enlightening conversation about the Force.
Anytime.
And Adam Sandler and letting me vent. Thanks to all of our listeners for listening for the last 3+ hours. We'll be back next month with another podcast and another special guest.
Yes.
Of course, new film reviews on Thursdays. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Patreon.
You almost forgot to spiel then.
Almost did. It's getting late, and I need to get back to Red Dead Redemption quick.
Yes.
Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.
Take it
Bye.
easy.